tornado watch does remain in effect, and it does need to remain in effect until 11 o'clock this evening. We hope we can get rid of that sooner, too, because that's 5 hours from now. I don't think this weather is going to be going on that long. I feel it's going to end a little bit earlier than that. So just want to update you on that. Let's go to Copiah County now. Let's focus on what's happening here with this weather. Let's go farther south into Copiah County, because I want to show folks to start getting ready. That storm is still in the western part of the county, had an impressive notch in it. The notch is still there. It's a little bit further east. And if you're in Crystal Springs, Gallman, or Hazelhurst, this is where you need to be preparing for the storm now. All right, over through Weston I would include a little bit farther south, but the storm is getting closer to your area at this point. So what we're going to do, let's do this. Let's go to our storm tracker now, because storm tracker is on the road intercepting the storm, and the weather is starting to go downhill in Copiah County, and that's exactly where our storm tracker is, Storm Tracker 3 with Quentin Smith. Quentin, what are you seeing so far, and where are you located?
Hey, Dave. So we're actually in Hazelhurst. We just took the Hazelhurst exit, and right now, as you mentioned, the storm is still a ways away, but things are starting to pick up here. I'm going to turn the camera so you all can see how things are looking here on our end. As you can see, the lightning is continuing to pick up. The rain is continuing to come down. Surprisingly, there's still been a good amount of people on the road so far. I guess these are people getting off work, trying to head to the house. As you just heard that loud thunder. So thunder, heavy rain, and a heavy lightning presence. That's what we're seeing in the Hazelhurst area so far. This area is expected to get hit hard once the storm comes through. You can see the shot right now. That's the area the storm will hit Hazelhurst. But so far, just rain, lightning, and thunder as the storm gets ready to come into this area. But of course, we're going to continue to be out here and monitor things, and we'll keep you posted as things continue to pick up here with the weather in Hazelhurst.
Okay, and I know, Quentin, you and I talked personally this afternoon about your safety. I want you being safe out there. You are in the path of this particular storm, okay? So the storm is sitting just to the southwest. Don't get me wrong. As Quentin reported, it is storming right now in Hazelhurst and Crystal Springs. But the core is back here. So, Ashley, let's do this. Let's see if we can give an idea as to how long it's going to take for the actual core, where we think the tornadic part of the cell is, to get to Hazelhurst and Crystal Springs and whatnot. And you can see as we're moving eastward, we're going about 45 miles per hour. And that's where, this one we're moving about 45, am I right? Yeah, 45 miles per hour. So the core of the storm is still back here a little bit. So it's probably going to be about 15 minutes or so before the core catches up with areas such as Hazelhurst and whatnot. So that's the thing. It's right here that the worst part of the storm is located, on Highway 28. And that's in the western part of Copiah County. So just a matter of time before that makes it over into Crystal Springs, into Hazelhurst, and into Weston. But beyond that, you could see that's the front line of the storm. And if you're outside of the tornado warning, you can see where that storm's going to be impacting you. This would be Georgetown at around 6:09. Crystal Springs, you're kind of already in it. But as far as the worst of the storm, instead of doing the line draw, let's do the funnel, the one that does the funnel draw.
Okay.
Out of there, and do it right from there where Highway 28 is, because that's going to come really close to Hazelhurst. There you go. And that's the thing. And with this storm, this looks more, honestly, just looking at the times here, 6:11 in Hazelhurst, about 20. Let's drop 5 off of it. You don't want to get too complacent. So at about 6:05 or so, about 10 to 15 minutes, Hazelhurst, Gallman about the same, Crystal Springs maybe about 20 minutes or so. That's when the worst of this storm, where the tornadic part of the storm is located, that's when the worst of it will move across the area. So again, you're seeing some rough weather right now. That's not the tornadic part of the cell, just an awful part of this storm. Let's zoom out here a little bit so folks in the rest of Copiah County can kind of get an idea as to what we're looking at. And we just want to give you the regional view. We had some large hail on the southern flank of this storm. And if we can, do a hail scan one more time just to see if that was just a thing that popped up with it. And you can see that the worst of the hail was back here south of Fayette. And that's what we saw 20 minutes ago. But it hasn't really migrated eastward. So maybe that hail portion is not nearly as strong as it was. But this is where the tornado warning is currently in effect. So you're not under this tornado warning in Brookhaven. But you are if you live in Weston, Hazelhurst, Strong Hope, for instance, Crystal Springs. This area is something that we're concerned about as this storm moves on through. So keep your eyes on the sky, so to speak, and take cover now in these areas to protect yourself from flying debris. Let's go back to Madison County and talk about the tornado warning that's in effect there until 6:45 this evening. Excuse me. That tornado warning is now the tornadic part of the storm, is from the city of Canton southward. So it has cleared Madison, it has cleared Gluckstadt, it has cleared the Nissan plant. I want to be clear with you. This part of the storm, this tornadic part of the storm, has cleared Ridgeland, Madison, Gluckstadt, Lake Caroline, and the Nissan plant. The storm threat has moved eastward. So this is where we're expecting the worst of that weather. That's Highway 16. That's coming in and out of the Canton area, and then you've got Highway 43 getting closer to the res, and that's where we have the tornado warning in effect. So if you're in Farm Haven or you live on the north side of the res, this is where you need to be prepared for this storm. Also, I should mention the northern part of Rankin County is still very much in this tornadic or in the tornado warning until 6:45. So that's the northern part of Rankin County from Goshen Springs northward. I'm talking about Sand Hill. I'm talking about Pisgah. So this is the area that we're watching for you most closely as this storm cell is starting to shift more northeastward and eastward. It is still very rough over Canton. You should definitely be in your safe place. If you're watching us on the free First Alert weather app or WLBT.com, this is for your safety. Make sure you're covered up, protected from flying debris. I said this earlier today when we had the tornado warning issued in southwest Mississippi. If you can, bathtub, good place to go, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. If you have helmets, put them on, get the helmets on the kids. All these things could help you in the event that we have a tornado on the ground. For that, I'm going to throw it back to Ashley and say, hey, Ashley, are you hearing anything right now on the potential of any damage? Are we getting any reports whatsoever from the field?
Yes, Dave, we've actually got a report of 60-mile-an-hour winds associated with this storm that's in Madison right now.
Okay, so where's the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts?
That came out of Gluckstadt.
Okay.
Now the storm has progressed a little bit, but there has been wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour.
All right, we're going to do a phoner here in a second, but let's do this. Let's throw a wind scan on this stuff real quick. I just want to give folks an idea, because now we've had the confirmation of 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to be a damaging wind gust. So let's just see if this is translating into more winds east of where it came through. And the good news is this is moving quickly, where it just literally popped over Gluckstadt and then moved off to the east. We're not seeing the most intense winds at this point, so that's good, because you were certainly looking at intense winds a little while ago. The big view shows you that most of the area at this point is under a tornado watch, all right? And that includes many counties that have yet to be impacted by severe weather. For more on that, we're now going to go back to Patrice Clark. She's got someone she's going to interview from Scott County.
Thanks, Dave. Now, on the phone right now is Scott County Sheriff Mike Lee. Our First Alert weather team was just talking about a tornado warning over Scott County. Sheriff, tell us what you are seeing right now.
Experienced some high winds in the Cooperville area, which is in the northwest part of the county, southwest part of the county, and that basically has been all the damage that we've had reported. Of course, we continue to watch the weather, and winds are picking up here in Scott County.
Okay, any areas you're keeping a close eye out on in Scott County?
We're definitely looking at the same area where we have experienced some high winds. That is the Cooperville area. We, definitely want people to be mindful of their safe spots of where to get. Just in the event that this storm does come in, the way it looks like as we're tracking it now, that will be the most impacted part of our county.
And just talk about your plan of action.
Right now, we are ready with any of available deputies and all available deputies, as well as any search and rescue that we need. We are already prepared for that, as well as our road crews clearing roads of debris. And we do want people to be mindful. If you have to be out and traveling for work or whatever, to understand that trees can fall anywhere at any time. And in the past, we've had vehicles that have struck trees on highways and back roads in not well lit areas before we were able to get out there. So we want everyone to remain vigilant.
And that was going to be my next question. Talk about the challenges you deal with in severe weather times like this in Scott County.
The big thing is with severe weather, we ask one that our citizens stay home if at all possible, not to be out. And in the event that we do have storm damage, we ask people still to remain out of those areas. We want to make sure that our people are safe. We also, again, are asking people to know your safe spots, listen for any of the weather sirens that we have that would go off, and to just remain vigilant, because we won't see these winds till maybe around 7 o'clock. It looks like the storm will be coming through here. So we're just asking for the entire county for everyone to remain safe.
And anything that I did not ask that you want the viewers to know right now?
I think that's it. We just want to, again, I can't reiterate about folks staying safe and not getting out to, if you don't have to be out, stay where you are until this storm passes.
Great advice. Thank you, Sheriff Lee.
All right, Patrice.
Thank you so much, Patrice Clark. We're going to check back with you as needed as we go through this evening. Again, it is coming up on 6 o'clock right now. You're watching severe weather coverage on WLBT Jackson, WDBD Jackson. We continue to monitor numerous tornado warnings that are out there right now. Madison County, let me give you some good news. Lake Caroline, Gluckstadt, Madison, the worst of the weather has now shifted. It is actually shifting away from Canton, but it's going downhill in Farmhaven and Revive. I did just get a report from meteorologist Todd Adams. He says that the wind and rain was basically a sideways rain the entire drive between Gluckstadt and Madison a short time ago. Farther south we go, we have another tornado warning in effect for Copiah County. That's where this storm is still ramping up. It's getting closer and closer to Hazelhurst, and that's where you'll find our Storm Tracker 3 and Quentin Smith right now for the latest on that. The storm is about to hit Hazelhurst. You are under a tornado warning. Take cover immediately in this area. Quentin, what do you have for us?
Hey, Dave, so right now we're actually heading up I-55 north to Copiah County. What you're seeing right now is the storm coming to Hazelhurst. We left just to get out of harm's way. We're going to go to Crystal Springs where it's a little more safer there. But as you can see, the lightning is continuing to intensify. The rain is coming down heavier and heavier. There's still a good bit of traffic out on the road right now. Still some thundering here and there, but for the most part, heavy rain and a lot of lightning. That's what we're seeing right now, what you're seeing in this shot right now. We're actually heading to Crystal Springs away from Hazelhurst, which is where the storm is going to hit first. But yeah, this is the scene right now. We're going to check back in with you once we get into Crystal Springs here in just a few minutes.
All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're focused on this storm. Why are we focused on this storm? Because take a look at it. It's got that notch that we've been talking about. We've got a pretty decent looking hook echo here. Isn't that right, Ashley?
Yes.
With the storm that is just outside the Smyrna community, Smyrna neighborhood, Smyrna Road in front of it. And this storm cell is going to be moving eastward. We have Barlow Road picked out here in Copiah County. If you live near Barlow Road, you need to be in your safe place now. You don't have any time to spare. Old Highway 20 also in front of it. This is Highway 28. All right, and we're going to follow Highway 28 here. Let's pop out a little bit and just show you what happens when we get towards like the Gallatin area. All right, that's where the next line is going to be, where these storms are going to cross. Highway 28 over by Gallatin, Old Natchez Road. I'm mentioning these roads. I'm trying to get your attention so you take cover now. Don't play games with this storm. This is the best representation of a tornadic cell right now on the radar. Let's go farther east and get folks ready in Hazelhurst. This is coming right for Hazelhurst. Okay, make no mistake about it. This storm is coming right towards Hazelhurst. You have but maybe about 5 minutes. Maybe, and that may be generous because you need to treat this extremely seriously. So I'll repeat again what you should do right now. It's been a minute since we've had this kind of weather. It's been about 5 months since we've had warnings of this nature being issued in our part of the state. What you need to do now, go towards the center part of the home or wherever you're watching us from. Get away from the windows. A bathtub might be suitable for you. They tend to be pretty sturdy, okay? And you need to cover yourselves at this time to protect yourself. The most important thing is that you don't get impacted by flying debris if there is any with this storm. So you want to get low, and stay covered and protected until this storm threat goes over you. The good news is there's not a lot going on behind it. It's all about what's happening with this storm cell right now. So if you're in Hazelhurst, okay, don't be scared, get prepared. And that's what you need to do because the storm is sitting off to your south and west. We've had no reports so far of any damage, okay? So that's the thing. But again, as I've mentioned, with these tornadic cells, they pop up and then go down and pop up and go down, and they cycle when it comes to intensity. And that's a vivid shot right here. Hazelhurst, right there on the right side of your screen, the community of Gallatin here, and then here's where we believe the tornado is, and it's going to go towards the east and northeast. So Hazelhurst is going to be in the path of this storm, and it is going to be at about 6:11, 7 minutes. We're being generous. That's probably pushing it, but 7 minutes until the core of this storm is over you. And so let's just treat it like it's the next 5 minutes. This is not the time to be on the roads traveling through the county. It's already awful when you start getting north of Hazelhurst. You get towards Gallman and Crystal Springs. That's where we already have heavy rain falling. But the tornadic part of the cell is sitting off to the southwest by about 5 miles. Go.
We do have a radar confirmed tornado now east of Canton.
Okay, let's go back to Canton and shift up there, and let's go closer in on the radar, and that's probably going to be right in this vicinity. Let's put on wind scan so we can kind of see it a little bit better as well. And there you go. That would be to the east of Canton. Right in here is your potential, or excuse me, you said radar confirmed tornado.
Yes.
Ashley, you just dropped that on there. It's a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we're starting to see right in here the tornado. That is Highway 16. So there we go. That is a radar confirmed tornado. That's why the white box just showed up. And this involves the community of Farm Haven. You are in the dead center of this tornado warning right now. So I'm going to repeat to you what I just said to the folks in Hazelhurst. We've got another storm going on in Hazelhurst. We've got one right now nearing Farm Haven. Take cover immediately because now this is a radar observed tornado that is currently to the east of Canton, moving right along Highway 16. A tornado warning is in effect for the Farm Haven community. And again, if you live in Oklahoma, St. Anne, Carthage, up through Singleton, start paying attention because this storm is going to be moving in your direction here in just a matter of time. But again, this is the new information. Let's go closer in on where the tornado is on Highway 16, just to give folks a better idea. So this is cleared Canton, just to be on the safe side here. It's east of Canton now. So if you live in Canton, breathe a sigh of relief because this particular cell is located right in here. And is that right, Ashley? You probably
That's
have it
correct.
right there, just by Highway 16. So this is showing up. Let's go to Debris Tracker and see if Debris Tracker is indicating anything as well. And that's a concern because now we have a debris ball, it looks like, just south of Highway 16. Let me challenge you here a little bit, Ashley. If you can, roll it back just a little bit and let's see if this debris ball is actually forming or just coming together here in the last minute. So we're going to just roll it. There we go. And it just popped right in the last 5 minutes?
Yes.
All right.
And this storm is moving at 25 miles an hour.
Okay, so this has changed, right? Because this was going east at 40 a little while ago, and so now are we going in a different direction, or are we still going east at 40?
It's still moving northeast.
Okay, so we're northeast at 40 miles per hour. Let's go closer in and get in front of this debris ball because I want to alert folks that are in. We're going to go back to Copiah County here in a moment, but this is a serious situation. We have a debris ball, folks, that we're showing to you on radar right now. So if you live on Ratliff Ferry Road, Robinson Road, Highway 16, this is 4-H Club Road. Let's go a little bit farther north, get across 16. So let's get across 16 a little bit, and there you go. Old Highway 16, and then Highway 43, Robert Dearborn Road, this area, debris ball is just south of you and moving towards your area right now. So let's pop out a little bit and let folks know exactly where this is. And let's just cross that road. Can we go back to that road right there where the debris ball was sitting on it? I'm sorry, I'm throwing a bunch of things at you real quick. Robinson Road is where this debris ball just crossed, and it's now going across Highway 16. So a debris ball on radar. This is telling us that there's large objects in the sky reflecting back on radar. And they could be numerous too. So it could be just trees. We know there's a lot of trees out there that have basically died in this weather, right, in the drought. That could be what's making this up, but we hope we're not seeing anything more structural in nature, like a house or a barn or anything else, or a business. So that's what we're seeing right now, or cars for that matter. I mean, you could have any of those things making up a debris ball. So this is the exact location. All right, old Highway 16 in front of it, then Highway 16 here, and that's Devines, which is just east, and Ratliff Ferry Road. It is very close to you, and it's coming across the road. We have a debris ball that literally just popped on the screen here in the last few minutes, a tornado warning in effect. We've got all the ingredients here that tell us there's a tornado there in northern Madison County, east of Canton, moving away from Canton. So this is where you need to be on the lookout. We're just giving you these roads here so you're prepared. All right, this is the area that's got less than 5 minutes until the storm moves in. Let's go a little bit wider out. Just show folks again. That's our debris ball on Highway 16. You seeing anything new, Ashley?
No, but I do want to preface that this is updating as we're talking. I know you're saying be 5 minutes out, but this storm is still moving. So we are maybe saying 5 minutes out. Just make sure that you are taking your tornado safe place.
Got it. Okay, so let's come out a little bit. And let's go back down south to let's go back down south and let's go into Copiah County. And I want to go back in towards Hazelhurst because that's where that storm is coming in. And you can see that's where it's nearing now, the Hazelhurst area. And this will be moving into town here before long, coming in from the southwest on Highway 28. So that's where the weather is going to be coming in from. From the Smyrna area over through Gallatin and then over through about Interstate 55 moving eastward. So on this particular storm, have we gotten any new information on it?
They have canceled the tornado warning for Lincoln County.
Okay.
But it's still moving at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, so this is really mainly an issue for Copiah County now. Jefferson County, you've been removed from the tornado warning. Also, that's the case from Claiborne County, too. You've been taken out of it. So this is just for Copiah County, and you're looking at the area that's going to be impacted the greatest by the storm. Let's zoom out just a little bit more, and you can see Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, Martinsville. This is where the worst of the weather is about to sweep across the area in the next few minutes. It's already over Midway and Smyrna. So again, we have not had any ground truth reports on this particular storm yet, but it is a concern. The one in Madison County, we have had ground truth reports. We had a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, and then we've got a debris ball on the radar. So we just want to alert everybody in Copiah County here. If you live close to I-55 or US 51, the storm is now moving on you, and it is now moving over Hazelhurst. If you're not in your safe place, this is the last moment that you can really do it with any degree of real safety. So again, a tornado warning in effect for this area, and we have our storm tracker located on I-55 somewhere between Hazelhurst and Crystal Springs. I say somewhere because he was moving in the last few minutes. So we'll go to Quentin if we can. As soon as we can get him popped up, that would be great. Let me know. But otherwise, this is where the worst of the weather is right now. So again, a tornado warning in effect. Let's go to Storm Tracker 3 in Copiah County. Quentin Smith, what are you seeing and what's your exact location?
Hey, Dave. So we're on the north side of Crystal Springs, just off of I-55. We kind of wanted to get into a safe area to get out of Hazelhurst and get away from the storm. But I want you to take a look at what we're seeing right now here on I-55. As you can see, there's still a lot of lightning, a lot of rain, and also a lot of thunder. So in Hazelhurst, that's where the storm is coming to right now. Things are kind of calm and clear for right now here in Crystal Springs. As you can see, we still have people out on the road, but just for the most part, just a lot of lightning, thunder, and rain here in Crystal Springs right now. We're going to wait it out right here until the storm passes over us, and then we're going to head back into Hazelhurst and see how things are looking there. But that's the very latest from right here, here in Crystal Springs.
All right, so this is where we have our tornado warnings right now. Quentin, stay safe there in Copiah County. Again, the worst of the weather is currently sitting over Crystal Springs, sitting over Hazelhurst right now. And then you can see in extreme eastern sections of Madison County, the northeastern part of Madison County, we have a radar-confirmed tornado in that area. So this is where the worst of it is. Let's go back and zoom in, if we can, on the weather that's going on in eastern Madison County and get an idea. And you could see as we go a little bit closer in towards Farm Haven, and that's where we're looking at the heaviest of the weather. It is now just southwest of Farm Haven with this particular cell that is moving up towards Highway 16. Actually, it's right there on Highway 16, just to the west of Raytown. So that's where the worst of this storm is currently located. Let's do a wind scan on it real quick, see if we're getting any damaging winds on it. And excuse me, and this is pretty much where the location of the cell is. Ashley is right now scanning the winds on it. We had 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts a little bit earlier, but at this point, not so much. 47 miles per hour, that's what's showing up on the latest scan there. Again, we see the winds going towards and away from the radar. That's why you see some minus symbols in front of them. And then you can also see Highway 16. That's where we're getting some rough weather as well. Looking for additional information, have you had any... So I have an unconfirmed report, but I just want to make sure we get this verified. Right now I have radar indicated, but have we had any ground truth reports of the tornado on the ground?
We have not, just radar confirmed.
Okay, just radar confirmed. All right, so this is at this point an observed tornado. This is from radar near Sharon, and it's basically moving up to the northeast in Madison County. Guys, I'm getting some reports here from our newsroom of a confirmed. I just want to make sure that we get that information right. But at this point, we don't have any reports as of right now of a tornado on the ground, but I just want to make sure that we get this verified, because right now we do have an observed tornado on radar that is moving eastward. So you can see it's very close to Farm Haven and east of Canton. There we go. The storm now has moved farther east into the eastern part of Madison County. It's headed towards Oklahoma, but otherwise the rest of the area really quiet when you start getting your way back towards the Canton area. Let's go to Copiah County real quick. I just want to show what's going on there, because the storm is now sitting over Hazelhurst and sitting over Crystal Springs. And again, no reports of damage so far, but this is an area that we're watching very, very closely for you. Look at this, just solid red, almost from border to border, from Hinds County southward towards Lincoln County, Martinsville, Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs. This is the area that we are seeing right now, wall-to-wall heavy rain, gusty winds, and again, the potential of a tornado in here. The tornado that was observed on radar in Madison County was a little bit more vivid for a while, and this seems like that notch that we were talking about, Ashley, for the longest time. Looks like that notch has pretty much kind of closed in a little bit. It looks like the radar is kind of mashed in, and you know, you may have been onto something earlier when you talked about the storms eastward kind of may have been interfering in the flow of this storm.
Yes, Dave. It looks like it kind of has at this point. It looks more like an S shape. It definitely looks like it's not as impressive as it was a couple of minutes ago. Just looking like some really heavy rain at this point. Okay, and you could see near Midway. Let's take a look at closer to Midway, and I just want to see if we got some large hail coming out of that particular cell. That is west of Silverina Road, south of Browns Wells Road, in the extreme southwestern part of Copiah County. This is going to be getting closer to I-55, and the good news there is I don't see large hail. We're not seeing a lot of large hail. We're seeing some quarter-size hail, which is to be expected with a storm like this, but the rest of the area is not as intense. Would you agree? I would agree, yes.
Yeah, so we're over these areas right now, and we're moving to the east, and you can see very close to Hazelhurst, and that will continue moving eastward on 28, Highway 28. But otherwise, the rest of the area, let's take a look at the bigger view of the whole area. So if you just to give you where get your bearings straight here as to what you're looking at. All right, so this is the radar picture here. The good news is they took the tag off in eastern Madison County. That means it's no longer observed by radar. All right. But if you take a look here at Copiah County, that's where we still have a tornado warning in effect for Crystal Springs, as well as Hazelhurst, Gallman, and Wesson. And that's really it. Otherwise, we've got a lot of heavy rain on the screen. We have a lot of rough weather, and we have a tornado watch that covers now most of the area, but not all of the area. So at this point, we may be right at that point where we're seeing the worst of this weather. 3 counties are taken out: Humphreys, Sharkey, and Issaquena counties, and that's good news for y'all because, of course, you had the horrible tornado, devastating tornado earlier this year. So it's nice that you can kind of escape the severe weather threat. You don't have to be amped up and worried about this. But the rest of the region still very much dealing with the severe weather threat that goes on. We have a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight. So just to confirm, get the information. There were some reports, some scanner reports of a tornado on the ground in Madison County earlier, but we have not received any other reports than a scanner report. So we can't really attribute it at this point. All we can tell you is it was a radar observed, and you saw the debris ball that we showed you that was going on with that storm. But all of that has weakened considerably, and you can see the storm's a lot smaller now too. Let's go back into Madison County, and I just want to make the folks in Madison County feel a little bit better about this because for a while we had Madison, we had Ridgeland, we had Gluckstadt, we had Canton, all under a tornado warning, and at this point in time, we don't. And if I'm seeing this correctly here,
Yes, they're going to extend a severe thunderstorm warning just off to our east.
okay, and that's going to be for Lee County. That will go until 7:15. And just give me a second here. This is going to be for Lee County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. The severe thunderstorm is now near Farm Haven, 12 miles west of Carthage, and it's moving east at 40 miles per hour. So take down the attitude a little bit with the storm because it's not nearly as intense looking as it was, say, 10, 15 minutes ago. But we're going to keep watching this, right, Ashley? Because it's still moving into a favorable environment of some rough weather. Carthage, you're going to be in this storm very soon. Let's storm track it if we can for the folks in Carthage because that's the most populous place that's in the path of this storm coming out of Madison County right now. And you can see as she puts the plot on there, this is going to be over the city of Carthage by 6:38, about 20 minutes or so. Still a pretty impressive looking cell, wouldn't you say? Just a lot smaller, I think.
Yes, it seems to be weakening just a little bit, but it's still looking, again, pretty impressive.
Yeah. So that's the thing. A lot of these storms tonight, they've been pulsing up, they've been reaching those severe levels, but now that's moving off to the east. Let's take a look here at the rest of the Metro Jackson area. I want to give you an update in Metro Jackson. We haven't talked much about you this evening because there hasn't been a lot of weather so far. Just some rain and a lot of lightning. You've probably been noticing that. Some thunder out there too. But the storms that we're seeing right now, at least in the immediate Metro Jackson area, the immediate metro, they are not reaching severe limits at this point in time. Flash flood warning, by the way, for all of Jefferson County and northern Adams County. And then we also have to pay attention, right, with what's going on with this particular storm cell. That one, it could be the one that ruins the party in southwest Mississippi in about an hour, if that can hold together, right?
Yes, we're going to continue to keep an eye on the stuff that's just behind the main focus right now because there is still some instability out there that could continue to fuel these storms. However, since we have lost the heating of the day and the sun has set, definitely going to be a hindrance in terms of the possibility for some more supercellular activity.
Yeah, I mean, these storms right now, Ashley, right, they're just working off the atmosphere. They're just working off the energy that's been generated throughout the day. Because it looks like, as you mentioned, the sun's gone down. We had temperatures in the lower 80s this afternoon, record levels out there. That just fueled everything. We were lucky we didn't have more sunshine because that would have actually made the atmosphere much worse. But now what we're seeing is this tornado that's about to come out of Madison County. Again, tornado warning, that's going to get downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, I have to tell you, it is in an atmosphere where we have a tornado watch in effect for most of the area. So it could possibly go tornadic again. That's why we'll keep watching it for you. And then we're watching this particular cell that is located in the southern part of really Copiah County at this point. But there hasn't been much going on near Macomb or Brookhaven. It's just been raining earlier this evening. We showed that to you. Natchez, the weather's calming down a little bit. I just was getting information. Meteorologist Todd Adams is checking back and forth with us. He's in northern Madison County right now. He said that storm that went through there, which is this storm that started in Gluckstadt, spawned the tornado warning, and then we had the debris ball for a few minutes. As that kept moving off to the east, he said the cloud to ground lightning was continuous. So just to make sure, yeah, a cloud to cloud, continuous lightning in the sky. So that was a ferocious storm. And one of the things that we've noticed is the lightning's been very concentrated. If we can throw on lightning tracker here, that lightning has been very concentrated in a couple of areas for this evening. We just haven't seen a lot of widespread lightning. So there's the lightning with that storm that's now in Leake County. And then we've got lightning with the storm in Copiah County, which we expect. And you can see there's a scattering of lightning through the rest of the area. But this is not looking like outbreak material at this point, which is fine. We're happy with that. But you could see in Copiah County, that storm is still very intense, very close to Hazelhurst. So let's go back on radar and get into Copiah County here, because that seems to be where the most widespread rough weather is taking place at this very moment. And I just don't like the way that's looking near Wesson, do you?
Yes, it's that bow-looking shape that's not looking.
I mean, this looks like this storm's about to do something again.
Yes.
So I hate saying that. Wesson, okay, you want to be technical? All right, the tornado warning is right there over the city of Wesson. Let's see what this little part of the storm does. It may rotate over it, but
We've got a new tornado
there we
warning
go.
now.
Yep, that makes sense. This storm is now migrating more eastward. So now Simpson County, here we go. This includes Mendenhall and Braxton. A new severe thunderstorm warning. Here we go. Excuse me, tornado warning. Had to correct myself there. This will go until 7:30. This will extend out of the eastern part of Copiah County, and this is going to go more into Simpson County now. So Harrisville, Georgetown, Pinola, all right, over by the Fish House. We're going to be looking at a tornado warning in effect for much of the county. McGee, you're not included. Upton, you're not. Shivers, I said the Fish House. I meant to say the Shivers Fish House. You're not included in that. But you can see Pinola, Georgetown, Harrisville, and over through Braxton, Mendenhall. These areas, yes, are included in the tornado warning, as this is a pretty ominous cell that is now coming out of Copiah County and moving eastward. So again, back to what we taught you earlier this evening, so these storms are pulsing up, they're pulsing down, they're cycling, and this particular thunderstorm has really been the most long-lived storm that we've tracked during the day today, right, Ashley? We started probably about 2 in the afternoon on this thing, or 1?
Yes, and they are starting to say now that there might be a little bit of some tighter circulation just northeast of Hazelhurst along Highway 28.
All right, so let's get in there, and so we can alert folks what's going on. All right, so there we go, and we're on the east side of Hazelhurst here. This is Highway 28. You can see it clearly on your screen there. We're going to go to wind scan and just take a look at what we can pick out from this storm. And there you go, right there on the east side of Hazelhurst. And yeah, wow, you just hit a 57 mile per hour wind gust right there. There's some 40 mile per hour wind gusts, 63 mile per hour wind gusts. If I can challenge you to hit right there, maybe on Highway 51. We're in the sky, by the way, right over this area, so you could see the winds really drop off once you get away from it. 54, you're finding a lot of wind right here in this storm. So that 157 mile per hour wind gust really stands out to me. I bet you it's a little bit higher in there too. So 63, as you indicated. So this is a dangerous storm now, right here. We know that there's some damaging wind. We're measuring it.
We do have someone in the chat saying major power flashes in Hazelhurst.
All right, so major power flashes in Hazelhurst. We have our storm tracker in this vicinity. So what I'm going to ask in the back, you could start probably moving him southward because the storm is going to... Can you hear me, Quentin? Hey, Quentin, I don't know if you can hear me in Storm Tracker 3.
Yes, we.
Okay, Quentin, I was going to say, if you're in Crystal Springs...
Yes, we can hear you, Dave.
If you're in Crystal Springs, you probably should start heading southward and get towards Hazelhurst. You'll be on the backside of the storm. I know it's raining very hard where you are, but I'm just telling you where the worst of the storm is now east of US 51. We're getting lots of power flashes being reported in Hazelhurst, and I know you're not that far away. So if you can, with caution, approach Hazelhurst, and where 28 and US 51 are located, we want to make sure that we're just getting an accurate account of what, if any, damage is taking place in that area. By the way, just to let the folks know at home, Quentin is not driving.
Heavy rain.
So, yeah, Quentin, you're seeing some heavy rain. Why don't you tell us what you're seeing right now while you're on the road?
That's right, Dave. So we're taking your advice and we're headed south towards Hazelhurst right now. So far, still heavy rain coming down, a lot of lightning as well. Thunder here and there, but But so far, just a lot of a lot of lightning and a lot of rain so far. We're taking your advice, don't head into Hazelhurst to get out of the way of the storm coming in.
Okay, so just to let folks know, Quentin, I just want to reiterate again, you're not driving. You have someone who's driving while you do the talking. I didn't want to think folks to think at all that we're being irresponsible, and you, of course, the least of which. But you can see you can see the heavy rain coming down out there, folks. That is something else. We are getting a lot of power outages. I just talked to Courtney Ann. She says there's a lot of power outages. They are jumping up dramatically in the Hazelhurst area. That lightning looks almost continuous. So, yes. Ashley, what do we got? 4,500 now?
We're at 4,500 right now, but that could. Wouldn't be surprised if we get an update here with much more in the next couple of minutes, as we are starting to see much more lightning associated with this.
Yeah, so what we believe right now is that the worst of this is located, I'm just looking over information here. So the southern part of that storm, all right, the southern part of the storm, Ashley, that we were just talking about, near Wesson, they're putting a severe thunderstorm warning on that. So let's just keep everybody in the loop here. If you live in New Hebron, over through Oma, and Wesson, it's a severe thunderstorm issue for you, and that includes the Shivers area. But if you're Mendenhall, Touchstone, Braxton, Georgetown, all right, this is a tornadic threat. And we are now getting a lot of reports. Courtney, I think you said there were some trees down too, right?
Trees down in Hazelhurst.
Okay.
I was watching the Entergy map, and it went from like 900 plus about 10 minutes ago in Copiah County to the last I checked, it was up to 2,700 plus.
Right, and that's a lot of customers for Copiah County.
It is.
So. Yeah, so that's the information we're getting for you. Again, tornado warning in effect for Simpson County, for Georgetown, Touchstone, Mendenhall. That includes Hazelhurst here. Crystal Springs, you're really not under the tornado warning at this point. The storm has now moved east of US 51. So if you're in Copiah County, your issues are east of US 51 at this point in time, as the storm continues moving eastward. And that's where the tornadic threat will lie. And now we have to get ready in Simpson County as well. Our storm tracker is right about here, and he's moving southward towards Hazelhurst. Go ahead, Adam. Yeah.
I was just going to tell you, I just heard from Sheriff Paul Mullins over in Simpson County, and he says there's a lot of heavy rain and some wind right now, but no damage, no storms coming in, but they're preparing for it. Just
Okay.
in case, yeah.
Howard Ballou, thank you so much for that information.
Yeah.
So here we are, Mendenhall, and that's what Howard's talking about right here, across the Pearl River, Simpson County, on the front side of the storm. We're going to want to check back with Simpson County here in the next few minutes. Let's talk about this purple area. Right there. Sorry, it's okay. It's all right. No, we're moving quickly. I know. That purple area east of Martinsville and northwest of Stronghope. If we can, let's see. We got some large hail in there, huh? Ping pong size, it looks like. Yep. That part of the cell looks like it's starting to really get a little bit intense. We've got a little bit of a notch here. But again, let's go back to Highway 28, just east of Hazelhurst, and see what's going on with the winds. Because that was where we were seeing those 60 plus, and there it is again,
there
right?
is.
So that's on the east part of town, and that's moving more and more towards the Hopewell area.
74
Whoa,
miles.
yeah, that is something else, and it looks like it's a little bit higher just to the left of it. 65 mile per. Wow, that's something else. So we're gonna have some issues. This is what came through Hazelhurst 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. This is what came through Hazelhurst. So that kind of wind damage, all right, is now going to be moving eastward. So let me get some roads here right in this area for you so you can get an idea as to where this kind of weather is moving. Because if there isn't a tornado there, there's certainly wind damage. And this is going to be Harmony Road and Bailey Road. This area is right in front of it. Alford is also, but here's the story. It's probably on you right now. That's how fast this thing is moving. Let's go right over it a little bit. Let's go to Pitts Lane and maybe hit it with the wind scan right over the cell. So let's just move over it real quick. Maybe we can get a little bit closer in and see what kind of winds we have. That's Bethesda Road, which is east of Hazelhurst. And so we're going to put on wind scan here and really trying to, look at that, 82 miles per hour. And 83. Do I hear 84? But you could see, this is where we're getting 80 plus mile an hour wind gusts. All right, this is going to cause damage. You start getting into this territory, you're getting the equivalent, again, without calling it, you're getting the equivalent of EF0 tornadoes, a little bit higher than that possibly, but you're getting an idea as to what you're seeing in this area. So if you live in Alford, Lane, or South Harmony Road, or Harmony Road for that matter, This is the area that's going to be impacted by this in the next few minutes. It's moving right now just east of Hazelhurst, and we've had numerous damage reports in there. Lots of trees down at Copiah Road, and possibly one on a car. So we're checking that out as well. Our storm tracker is about 10 minutes or less from Hazelhurst. So we'll be getting additional information for you on that and any other places that we get some damage out of it as well. Let's go back to the radar now and show you what's going on. And that red just shows you it's heavy rain. That purple, that's just south in the southern part of the county, that's not just rain, that's hail. And again, this is a pretty intense storm cell, just updated there on the scan for you, a very intense storm cell. And this is where we think there's a tornadic cell, if not wind damage, right? Coming right out of this particular area east of Hazelhurst, getting closer to Georgetown. So if you're in Georgetown, this whole area on Highway 27, Highway 28, it's going to be a rough ride here for the next 20, 30 minutes, 30 minutes tops, probably more like 20 minutes with this storm moving through.
We do also have storm reports of minor damage to a gas station at US 51 and MS Highway 28.
Okay, so that's exactly where I was, right, we were telling Quentin to kind of move towards that intersection, and that's going to be where, go ahead, Courtney Ann Jackson.
So I'm in communication with the mayor of Crystal Springs. Obviously, as you mentioned, they have not gotten the worst of it,
Right.
but the
It's just
Crystal
outside of town.
Springs volunteer fire chief, I'm told, is slap dab in the middle of it because they were hoping to try to get him on the
Right.
phone so we
Right,
could
sure.
hear what he's seeing. But we just got a report from him. That's Crystal Springs volunteer fire chief James Barnes, that people in a car with a tree on top in East Hazelhurst.
Okay, so that would
be the area you've been talking about.
Yeah,
right?
and it seems like, I don't want to pick out the exact location because
Right.
we could track it back here, but we've been following that wind, and it looks like it was right at US 51 and 28, right? I mean, that seems to be where it, on the east side of town. It makes sense. And now, as Ashley's been tracking between 28 and 27, that's where we have now this heavy wind field that's producing over 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And that's why I kind of said, let's drill down into this, because I want to alert the folks. Once you get beyond 27, you're going to be over the Pearl River, right? And there's a couple of crossings. That's Hopewell Road that goes across between Simpson and Copiah County. But you get the idea. We're moving into this territory now where the worst of the weather is. It's going to be going across 27 before long. Let's go back to wind scan if we can. Make sure that those winds have not even tightened up further. But there it is, Burt Loop Road, and getting close to 27. That's where those winds are going to be going right across the highway. Look at that, 68 miles per hour. You're still getting some intense winds. Well, 68, we got that. 58. So you see what's going on here. That seems to be the worst of it, and that's going to be moving across 27. So if you live near Beach Grove or 27, what are you looking at here? This could either represent tornadic wind or it could represent actual wind gusts. So that's the story there. We're continuing to watch this as it moves across the road, but the rest of the area is pretty quiet. So you can see the tornado warning continues for Copiah. It continues for Simpson County. Crystal Springs, you're kind of out of it, but still Hazelhurst, you're still included in one for the time being. And that's new. Go ahead.
We do have a new tornado warning, confirmed tornado on Lincoln, Copiah County, county line warning coming.
Okay, got it on the screen. If you can, let's go zoom in on it. This is a new tornado warning. This is the one we were watching, right? Just
Yes.
outside Wesson. And this is going to be for South Central Simpson County. It's also going to be for Northeastern Lincoln. It's going to be Northern Lawrence, Southeastern Copiah County, and Northwestern Jefferson Davis County. This goes until 7:30. That's an impressive looking cell
Yes.
that is right there near Strong Hope, which is on the border, like you said. It is moving east at 40 miles an hour. It's got a fix of 12 miles southeast of Hazelhurst, very close to the Sontag community. And you can see we're measuring 80-plus-mile-an-hour winds. I don't know if I can get you to grab one of those pixels right there, but that's probably even higher. And moving east at 40. Whoa, you got 100 miles per hour. There you go, 100 miles per hour on the wind scan, showing up southeast of Strong Hope.
And this is a confirmed tornado.
Okay, yeah, we're confirmed on this now?
Radar confirmed.
Okay, radar confirmed. Let's just be clear on that. Okay, radar confirmed tornado right now on this storm outside of Strong Hope. Let's go closer in. We had a really bad storm hit this area. Do y'all remember this? It's been a few years, but we had a bad storm actually go through. It was closer to New Hebron.
Yeah.
Okay, but it started out right around here. This is Monticello Road and Ronnie's Lane. And so let's go a little bit, bump it down just a little bit so we can see more of the wind thing and maybe grab some more of the winds in. About 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is a dangerous storm. And again, it is believed that there's a tornado located right in here that is moving off to the east, Monticello Road, Mustang Road. You can see 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. 85 miles, 98. I mean, that seems like it's pretty common here. And we are right outside Ronnie's Lane and Monticello Road. So this is the area very close to the border of both counties. This is where we're getting intense winds right now. This is going to cause damage for sure. So a new tornado warning. All right, this is a new tornado warning. And I believe we have, let's see what else is going on here. It's an active night, folks. We have a new tornado warning going into effect now until 7:30. This is for Leake County until 7:30. A new tornado warning now in effect for Leake County. Again, this is dealing with, there it is, that's brand new. If you're in Carthage, take cover immediately. Hold on one second. Radar confirmed tornado. This is a radar confirmed tornado that is sitting near Carthage. Let's zoom in to Carthage, please. Carthage, take cover immediately. This storm is now on the southwest side of town. Carthage, this tornado is on the southwest side of town. It is a radar indicated tornado. It is moving east at 30 miles per hour. So here's Carthage. The actual cell is just west of the city. If we can zoom out just a little bit, I'll show it to you. Just a little bit more. There you go. And that's where it is. By Old Canton Road and Highway 16, that's where the core of that cell is. If we can take a look at winds there, again, radar confirmed. And this shows you the winds are a little bit off kilter from it. Probably not getting the 100-mile-per-hour winds, but let's not let our guard down, okay? But that's exactly where the storm cell is. So if you live in the Carthage community, we now have a tornado warning in effect for you. And this will go until 7:30. So we've got new tornadoes now, new tornado warnings that are popping up on the board. It is becoming an active evening here in central and southwest Mississippi. This tornado warning goes until 7:30. Carthage, take cover immediately. The storm is just southwest of town. It's over you now. It will be moving over the city of Carthage in the next 10 minutes and then clearing off to the east. So the warning goes till 7:30, but just to be clear, for Carthage, the warning will be discontinued. If not, the severe threat will end before we get to 7:30, probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes when this storm cell moves overhead. All right, let's go to the big picture. We got a lot going on here, so we just want to keep y'all straight with what's happening, and us too, right? So let's take a look here. This is what the board looks like right now. This is the radar view of the whole area. We've got rain just about everywhere north of I-20 right now.
So they did just updated the tornado warning. It is actually not radar confirmed.
Okay.
For the Leake County.
No, okay, so it's not, okay, they just changed that, right?
They made a correction.
Okay,
yes.
made a correction on it, all right. Well, corrections, we're allowed to, right? That's why they create pencils with erasers, isn't that right?
Yes.
So you could see, that's what my dad used to tell me all the time. I think he was right. So you could see central areas of Leake County. We've got severe weather moving over Carthage, and then you could see also observed, that's the one that's the most intense, right? Yep. That just came out of Strong Hope. And then we've got a tornado warning for eastern Copiah and also western Simpson. And then we're going to talk more about, we just alerted you to Carthage, right? Carthage, you know what's going on. You've got the storm moving overhead. Get to your safe place now. But let's get back over to this storm near Strong Hope for a second. Because as you can see, the one near Strong Hope, that concerns me the most. Sontag. I said Strong Hope's here. Trias is here. Sontag is right there. And so this storm is going to cross Highway 27 near the Oma area very soon.
And it's got a notch on it.
Yeah, it's got a notch on it. So give us the explanation on what we should be looking at with that.
So this notch is the inflow and outflow is what we're looking at. That's usually indicated of some type of rotation going on right there.
Mm-hmm. Right in here. So you've got your inflow here feeding the storm, outflow here, and it's got that notch. Don't like seeing that notch. And then that is exactly where Ashley was measuring those intense winds. And I'm seeing them again near the Trias area. Again, we're above the ground. So remember, tornadoes aren't straight north. They aren't straight up and down. They are, they wiggle through the sky. So we're in that area. But we've got 70, almost 80 mile per hour wind gusts. I bet you they're higher. If I can we go a little bit farther south towards Trias, I bet you they're a little bit higher in that little part of the cell there. But this is not good because this is where you would have the tornado, right? Mm-hmm. That's exactly where you'd have it. So right there near the Trias area, that's where the tornado would be located, very close to the Oma community and Highway 27. So this storm is moving eastward here, and again, there you go, 90, you're at 90 just about, and we've got 80. So that's the same area, right, Ashley, where you
Yes.
had about 100 mile per hour measurement.
Right, and I mean, this is looking a lot more tighter in terms of our inflow and outflow. That's what those plus and minus numbers look like. It's the wind speeds are towards and away from the radar. When those get high and they start to create that notch that we've been talking about, that's when we start to get concerned.
Yeah, and with good reason. So this is indicating here that tight inflow, the notch that Ashley was referring to, and this is where your highest likelihood of having a tornado is located. This is going to be moving across Highway 27. This is the regular radar view. Shows you where the intense cell is, and this is going to be moving eastward over time. Shivers, New Hebron. Remember, I was just talking about you, New Hebron? New Hebron, I was just telling you about we had the severe weather that was just a freakish event a few years ago. But if you're in Oma, 6:47, and if you're in New Hebron, 7 p.m. is when we think that storm is going to go over to you. We are now following up on damage in Hazelhurst right here on the western edge of the screen. I'm going to throw it to our Storm Tracker 3 while I get a sip of iced tea. And Quentin Smith is in Storm Tracker 3. What are you seeing? Because I know you're pulling up on Hazelhurst as we speak.
That's right, Dave. So we're cruising up Highway 51 going into Hazelhurst after the storm has now passed through this area. I want you to take a look at how things are looking. Right now, there's a lot of debris. We saw tree limbs and tree leaves scattered all along the road, as you can see right here. The rain has actually let up some, but the lightning is continuing. And as you can see, the power outages there are a lot of power outages all throughout town. As you can see, these buildings right here have no power. We know in Copiah County in general, there are more than 1,600 people who are without power, and everything is just dark right now. We're driving along Highway 51 to see if we can spot any damages to any buildings or anything like that. Kind of hard to see because the town is so dark right now. But so far, the main thing we're seeing is a lot of debris scattered everywhere, tree limbs and leaves. The rain is continuing to slack up as we speak, but the lightning, that's continuing to intensify. But we're going to continue to cruise along Highway 51 and cruise throughout the city of Hazelhurst, and we'll definitely keep you posted on what we see along our route.
Okay, now Quentin, I would suggest probably getting to the area of Highway 28 and 51. It seems like you're getting closer because it looks like you're in the middle of town there. But are you seeing any power outages? Because I see the lights on just about everywhere. I know there's a lot of power outages because I can see it on the map. But what are you seeing? You know?
Absolutely, a lot of power outages. The Walmart was without power. As soon as you get into Hazelhurst, the first two gas stations you see, they're also without power. And as you can see right now, the road we're on, it's dark. Everything here is without power. So that's what residents here are dealing with, and we're trying to spot damage as we drive throughout Hazelhurst. That's kind of making it hard right now because things are dark and the town is without power right now. But so far, the main thing we're seeing is just a lot of debris scattered all across the road. We saw one tree limb that was in the middle of the road. That's been the biggest thing so far. But of course, we're going to continue to drive throughout town and see what else we can find.
Okay, doesn't seem like you're finding a lot of other traffic on the road with you, but definitely a big deal when the Walmart is without power. That says something right off the bat there. But you can still see that we have Quentin Smith in Storm Tracker 3. We're going to check back with you, Quentin, because again, we are getting a lot of damage reports from around the Hazelhurst area. So we'll continue to work over those reports and get you into the right position so you can follow up on that. Meteorologist Ashley Civic, you've got some additional information?
We do. We have a now confirmed tornado northwest of Panola in Simpson County.
Okay, so let's get on that. And that one is the storm that is currently coming out of the Hopewell area. This is moving across the river. Now, this is the one that's farther north, right? So
Yes.
now we've got two confirmed.
Radar confirmed.
Yeah, so we've got two radar confirmed tornadoes. So this one you mentioned is now near Pinola. So Harrisville is here. Let's come out a little bit further. And Pinola is going to be in the middle. Here it is. Pinola is right there. So this storm is probably just to the west of it. I mean, it's an active storm cell. This one is really the most prolific one, I think, that we're keeping track of for you tonight in Simpson County. So Pinola, take cover. Mendenhall, take cover. Harrisville, take cover. These are radar Observed or radar confirmed? I'm sorry.
Radar confirmed.
Okay, so when you have a radar confirmed, basically the radar says, hey, this is a tornado. All right, that's what it's telling you. We don't have people on the ground that are seeing it, but the radar says, nope, this is confirming as a tornado, and that's that. So you could see Mendenhall, that is under the gun here for this rough weather. It's not bad yet, but in the next 10 or 20 minutes, we believe it will. So we've got some additional information for you here. Let's take a look at some hail that's been falling this evening in Martinsville. That's some pretty large hail. That's from Laura Miller. Appreciate you sending that in. Again, you could send in your weather pics. Just do so safely on the free First Alert weather app. You open up the page, slide to the bottom. It's really easy to submit your picture or your video of the storm. But again, only want you doing it if you can do it safely. But that's some large hail there. Again, from the Martinsville area, that is just south of Hazelhurst, as the caption indicates. We've been getting reports of hail. We've been talking about hail tonight, right? And we've been talking about these tornadic storms, too. Let's pop out a little bit further here. While you see a white box, that's a radar-confirmed tornado. We've got the same thing going on near Oma as we do going on in Simpson County right now. Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, Gallman, you're out of the tornado warning. Breathe a little easier, but you are out of the tornado warning in your particular neighborhood. Not the case in Simpson, and not the case near New Hebron either. Mendenhall, New Hebron. It has not made it over to McGee at this point in time, but we are watching the weather for you very closely here. But it's Simpson and extreme northern Lawrence County and northern areas of Jefferson Davis County. That's where we continue to watch this weather as it's moving off to the east. But we have two radar-confirmed tornadoes. It's a little messy, the one in Simpson County, to see on radar, but if you go to the one near Oma, that shows up a little clearer. That's very close to the Pearl River. Let's zoom in on that area from Rockport to Oma now, and that's where the storm is. All right, so you can see here, Rockport to Oma, that's where Monticello Road, we mentioned that to you before, and Highway 27. This is going to be crossing Oma and going northeastward across the Pearl River before long. Can you give me an idea what wind scan looks like?
Yes. And we also do now have storm reports that a metal roof has been blown off of a building at MS Highway 28 and Bethesda Road.
Okay, so that's 28 and Bethesda Road. That's going to be pretty close to Hazelhurst, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right, there's a wind scan. I just want to get this real quick, then we're going to go back to Storm Tracker 3 and see what he's seeing. But again, we're seeing some blue on the screen here. When you start seeing that, you're talking about some pretty intense winds in here. So Ashley's going to plug those numbers in and see what she comes up with. Remember, we hit 100-mile-per-hour winds a short time ago. There's 63. We believe this is where the tornado is, 91-mile-per-hour wind gusts right in there. That's on the Pearl River, right there south of Rockport. So that gives you an idea where this is, and it's moving eastward towards Shivers, 93 miles per hour. So there we go. We're right in that area where we think it is. Let's go now back to Storm Tracker 3. We're tracking the storm damage that this cell is producing. Hazelhurst hit about 20, 30 minutes ago, and our Quentin Smith is on scene right now.
You can pan your camera up to it.
That's right, Dave. So we took your advice and we were trying to head to Highway 28, but we have this thing right here that's blocking our view. I want you to take a look at this. This is what we're seeing all throughout Hazelhurst. We're seeing the strong winds cause a lot of tree limbs to topple over into the road. This one is actually blocking the road, so we got to find an alternate route to get to Highway 28. But this is what we're seeing right now here in Hazelhurst. So far, no structural damage, thankfully, but just a lot of debris and tree limbs and tree leaves scattered all across the road, as you can see right here. This is in front of a home here in Hazelhurst. As we were heading to Highway 28, this blocked our view. But as you can see, no damage to this structure right here. But this tree did snap and it did fall over into the middle of the road. No one can go through this road because it's blocked right now. So we're going to try to find us an alternate route as we go to Highway 28 to see what else this storm, what other damage this storm left behind here in Hazelhurst.
All right, thank you so much, Quentin. Stay safe out there. By the way, getting some reports near Bethesda Road and Highway 28, as Ashley Civic was just telling us. All right, so right now we're watching this particular storm cell because meteorologist Ashley Civic was just looking at it intensely and saw we had, again, close to 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts on it. This is going to cause considerable damage if we have an actual tornado on the ground coming out of it. We have not had the reports yet from Rockport or Oma. It is literally over there right now. but we're seeing extensive power outages right now, isn't that right?
And we have now 11,800 people without power right
Is that
now.
statewide or?
That is statewide.
Okay, and where do you see the worst of it?
The worst of it is in Copiah County.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Probably right around Hazelhurst is where we're seeing the
Yes.
worst of this weather. So here's where we have tornado warnings. Let's go back to Carthage. We did not forget you, but the storm was on you when we were updating you. The worst of that storm has now moved east of the city of Carthage, and it's closer to the Sunrise community now. So it's still horrible in Carthage, okay? When I tell you the storm has moved over, I'm talking about the core of the storm. It's still pretty rough in Carthage, but the worst of this storm is now near Coosa and over by Sunrise and continuing to move off to the east. So that's going to be near Edinburgh before long, and that will get out of here. But around Redwater and Carthage, you could see that's where the worst of this weather is located. So something to keep in mind. Highway 16, that's the area that's being impacted the most by the storm. But the worst of that storm has now moved east of Carthage. Again, a tornado warning in effect for much of Lee County. All right, that sums up Lee County. We're not seeing a lot of action now north and west of Jackson. Let me just clarify that real quick. Got a pretty good cell that's out here in the western part of Madison County, but as far as anything that's showing signs right now of being tornadic, this is what we're watching. It is Lee County, and then we're watching Simpson County here, and that's where we've been getting the damage reports coming out of Hazelhurst. And also we're watching what's going on with this notch right here on the Pearl River with that storm that's coming out of, really, I guess that would be southern Copiah County at this point, moving eastward into Simpson County. This is where it seems to be all coming together, and that's northern Lawrence County too.
Yes, and they are continuing this tornado warning now into Jefferson Davis, Lawrence, and Simpson County.
Okay, so here we go. You can see this continues to move eastward, as you mentioned. We also have trees down. This is in Hazelhurst, the South Extension Street in Hazelhurst. A car has a tree on it, and you could see that this storm continues moving eastward right now, getting closer to New Hebron. So New Hebron, you're under this tornado warning. All right, you need to take this seriously as the storm's moving in. They've dropped the observe tag on this, and they've dropped the observe tag. Right?
Yes,
the radar
they've just now
yeah, I keep
dropped
saying
it.
observe, but it's really radar confirmed. The radar confirmed tag has been dropped off both of these storms. So a tornado warning is a tornado warning, right? But at least here, we're saying we have less information to suggest that it's an actual tornado happening right at this moment. But still, it could pulse up in a heartbeat and spawn a tornado and cause some additional problems. The tornado warning on the southern flank of this system has been reduced. It is only from Oma eastward through New Hebron. All right, it's been greatly reduced in size. And the tornado warning is now from Georgetown eastward to Mendenhall. So we're starting to see that shrink up a little bit as well. So we have a tornado warning in effect for Simpson County, and then for northern Lawrence County, that's where we have another tornado warning in effect, and then Lee County. So those are the three that we're watching right now with most intensity. The tornado watch remains in effect until 11 o'clock, another 4 hours for most of our area, but already 3 counties have been dropped from that. Issaquena, Sharkey, as well as Humphreys County. So we've got 3 counties taken out, and look at this, northeast Louisiana now removed from the tornado watch. So this is progress.
This is progress.
We're moving in the right direction. We just need that to hurry up and catch up with us so we can get rid of the rest of the counties on this map and not have them under a tornado watch any longer as well. What are you seeing right now, meteorologist Ashley Civic?
Well, if we take a regional view of what's going on, taking a quick look back at Louisiana, nothing looking super impressive right now. They do have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect, but other than that, it looks like the majority of what's going on is going on right now.
Okay. Not much happening north and west of Jackson per se. Seems like a lot of what's happening is now east of 55. We still have a flash flood warning in effect for all of Jefferson County and the northern part of Adams County. And that storm that's been across the river in Louisiana looks like it's about to head to Natchez.
Yes, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on it, but as of right now, not looking super impressive.
Yeah, not like it was earlier, right?
No.
Because I'm not going to lie, that was giving us a little angst.
Yes.
Right? As we were watching all this weather developing here, we're saying, oh, great. Is this stuff going to try to redevelop and move in? So I think what we're starting to see here is the atmosphere is stabilizing across northeast Louisiana. And as that atmosphere starts moving more eastward, that should really shut things off around here. You know, we mentioned earlier today that we felt that this window was really going to be between, 5 p.m. and 9 p.m.?
Yes.
And we kept shrinking it. We seem to be stuck in that window right now. We feel that most of this weather, probably in the next couple hours, is going to be done with. Now, if you live in Macomb or Tylertown or even close to Brookhaven, you're probably wondering, okay, wait a minute, when's it going to happen around here? But at this point, we're just not seeing the development getting over that threshold. We see it getting close, but it's not really reaching that point yet. So it's really Simpson County here, northern Jefferson Davis, northern Lawrence County. We have a tornado warning in effect. And then Leake County, we have that tornado warning too. I am watching this storm, right? This storm has still some energy to it in Yazoo as well as Madison counties. So we'll keep an eye on that because that really spun up quick, right? That storm that we were watching about an hour ago.
Yes, and I also do think that because now that these storms have tapped into some of the energy we were talking about, some of that juice that was available earlier this afternoon, that some storms may still have trouble getting that oomph that they need to develop or strengthen by any means. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to do for you here as these storms keep moving to the east. The radar looks a little messier out there right now. And that's a sign that the atmosphere is kind of, just there's more stable air available. But again, you can't let your guard down yet if you're in eastern Lee County. You can't let your guard down yet if you're in Simpson and northern areas of Lawrence County too, or Jefferson Davis. And remember, we're doing play-by-play weather here, all right? So the conditions are changing by the moment. And so that's why we're here to kind of guide you through the process because, like I said, warnings are coming and going. Storms are pulsing up, pulsing down. Some of them are flattening out. Other storms are just trying to get going. So we're still in that window here where they can tap into those variables and still get intense and move across the area. So we know we have our first alert storm tracker is located in Hazelhurst. Right now, Quentin Smith is with our First Alert Storm Tracker. Where are you located now, Quentin, and where are you headed next?
That's right, Dave. So we're actually headed down 51 South. We're trying to head to 340 South Extension Street. We're told at that location there's a tree on top of a car, and so we're just cruising along trying to head to that location right now. If you can look, you can see emergency lights kind of flashing in the distance. So first responders are already there on scene right now, and we're going to head that way to see what we can find out. And once we get there, we'll definitely check back in with you all.
Yeah, is the road blocked off there, Quentin? It looks like the cars are either veering off or they're just, trying to get out of the way, hopefully just trying to get out of the way for the emergency vehicles.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both. They're trying to get out of the way from the emergency vehicles, but also so far we run into two streets that are blocked off because the strong winds caused trees to topple over into the middle of the road, so you can't go in or out of the streets. Only two streets have been blocked off so far that we've come across, but so far everybody is just trying to drive slowly to avoid some of this debris that you see in the road right here.
Give folks an idea, what part of Hazelhurst are you in? Are you in the southeast part of town or south part of town? I'm not familiar with that road, South Extension Street. So what part of town are you in right now? Because it looks like there's a lot of debris on the road there.
Yeah, we're on the south part of town. We're actually just a few feet away from South Extension Street right now. There's a tree limb in the road right here that people are trying to be cautious as they pass through this road. Yes, sir, on the south part of Hazelhurst, and we're actually headed up to South Extension Street to see how things are looking there.
All right, and we'll check back with you. Again, that's Quentin Smith in our First Alert Storm Tracker. Again, arriving first on the scene of the storm to give us the latest information and let us know what exactly is happening out there right now on the ground. And so Hazelhurst is still looking at the heavy rain. You could tell that from the picture. We can confirm that with the radar here. But we are still looking at a tornado warning effect for Mendenhall, much of Simpson County. And then you could see also the northern parts of Lawrence County too. Now, let's talk more about Simpson County for a second, all right, because the weather's still ramping up across parts of Simpson County. So let's go to the sheriff now. Sheriff Paul Mullins is standing by. Good evening, Sheriff. What's happening so far in the county? Anything to report?
Hey, Dave, right now all we got 28 highways blocked. The Strong River Bridge is right there around Pinola. They're saying the reports of that around Jupiter against a few calls, but right now the deputies are headed that way. We really hadn't had any calls of any damage yet, other than that one tree down on 28. We just have a lot of rain and a lot of lightning and wind, but at this point we hadn't had any reports of damages. And as soon as if we get any, I will let you know.
Now, Sheriff, you're in McGee, right? So you're not in the central or western part of the county right this moment.
Yeah, we at Mendenhall.
Okay.
Pinola,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. You're over there. So that's where most of the damage is. So we're looking at this probably being over in McGee, which is a more populated part. More commerce in the next half hour to an hour. Are a lot of people still on the roads tonight, despite the fact that it's quite stormy out?
The deputies are not reporting a lot of people on the road right now, but they're going to check that around Jupiter area, and then they're going to migrate down to McGee. But we're trying to check out what's going on around Jupiter, and the only road we have blocked right now is 28 at Strong River Bridge.
Okay, well, I'm hoping, Sheriff, that the weather kind of quiets down a little bit for you.
Yes,
makes
sir,
life
me too.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit easier for you, and hopefully when those storms get over towards McGee and Delo, that they're not nearly as intense. But looks like from what meteorologist Ashley Civic was looking at a little while ago, we had some winds that were gusting 80, 100 miles per hour off the ground. So I'm happy that you're so far we haven't had any widespread damage except for that one tree. Thank you for joining us, Sheriff. I know you're busy. I'm going to let you get back to work, but we may check in with you a little bit later if that's okay. Okay, and thank you very much, Sheriff Paul Mullins. Appreciate you joining us this evening. Again, we want to make sure that we're approaching the storm system from all angles, giving you the most intense information, the most up-to-date information, your first alert on all this, because, of course, we don't want to miss anything, and no news is good news. If we can reach out to an official who says, hey, we haven't had any damage yet, that's great. That gives us an idea as to what we're looking at, because, again, what we're looking at a lot of at night is what's on radar and what you report and what the police report to us. And so we're trying to bring all that information full circle to you, and that's exactly what we're doing. And our First Alert Storm Tracker helps in that effort too. So, at this point, the damage reports that we are receiving are minimal. Let's keep them that way. If you're sitting in the dark in Hazelhurst, it's not minimal to you. I understand that. All right, but hopefully you didn't suffer any major damage, and we can get you back up and running here before long. But right now, the most intense weather is close to Pinola. The sheriff indicated Highway 28 is closed off, blocked off, very close to Pinola. So this is 28 here. We just saw the tornado warning shrink back a little bit further, so that's good news.
They just canceled it for Copiah County. Now it's just left for Simpson County.
Okay, so Copiah County, you're out of it. All right, you're out of the tornado warning. That's good news. So now we just have this, what would you call that, a hexagon? What is that? I don't know.
Something like that.
Something like that. No, it's missing the side, isn't it? I was close, sorry. Anyway, it's just a weird rectangle. Pinola, Mendenhall, that's where we're looking at, a tornado warning in effect, and then Shivers. I'm just concerned about the cell near Shivers. That's the one that's close to Highway 43, and it's south of 28. Do you agree with me on this? This is the one that keeps showing that it's tapping into the atmosphere. And kind of getting the juice.
That's right. It was looking a little less impressive, but now it's really kind of pulsing back up, kind of tapping into some more energy. So I'm definitely going to continue to keep an eye out on that as well.
Yeah, so this is the area right there. We still have a tornado warning in effect. This is Shivers, New Hebron, just northwest of New Hebron. That's where we had considerable amounts of damage a few years ago with a microburst event that happened in New Hebron, caused an awful lot of damage. So we now have the worst part of that storm almost close to the same area. It's a little bit farther north and west of town. All right, we just got the updated radar image. So as we can see it here, the notch is still there. Maybe not as impressive. Let's talk about winds, can we?
Yes.
And get in here. And this is Highway 28. And the sheriff said that Highway 28 is blocked in the Pinola area. But we're still seeing these pretty intense winds. I'm just going to back out for a minute here. This is very close to the border of Lawrence and also Simpson counties. So if I can, there we go, 72. Okay, is that a new tornado warning? Let's see what we got going on here.
They are continuing the tornado warning for Leake County.
Okay, and it looks like this one was just shrunk up a little bit too.
Yes.
Come on over here, a little bit south of Shivers Road, if I can get you to drop into that dark blue area south of Highway 13. See it northwest of Gwynville? There you go,
Yes,
94. Look at that. So we're still getting these wind gusts. Now, we're a little bit up in the atmosphere, so it may not be reaching the ground, but this just gives you an idea as to what kind of winds we're measuring out here this time of night. And that's why we're concerned about the damage that could possibly happen from when you're talking 94-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's a serious situation. 72-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Highway 478 as well. All of this weather is moving eastward right now. And again, Highway 28 is the area here that's of most concern. Highway 13 is in front of it too. Where am I talking? Simpson County. That's where we've got to watch this. And we're measuring winds here that are still pushing over 90+ miles per hour, indicating there's going to be some wind damage or a tornadic cell here. The good news is, though, Ashley, I mean, you're looking at the same data I am. I don't want to miss anything, though. Are you seeing any reports at this point?
I haven't gotten any reports. I've also been keeping a look at social medias. Haven't seen really much in terms of storm reports.
So that's the thing, you know, we're looking here at all these different sources of information. Now, at night, we hate this. Just, you know, meteorologists, we all hate this. We all hate reporting on tornadoes at night because you get the least amount of reports. Most people aren't mobile, they aren't out and about, they aren't able to take a picture of anything or video and say, hey, look at this, I just saw this. So at night, we're relying really on what police get reports of and the limited information we have. We have radar, which is our most vital tool in this situation. And this just shows you a very intense storm. When you see red over Pinola and over Shivers, you get the idea. There's a rough storm in this area, and this is where a tornado warning is currently in effect. Let's zoom out now. Let's give folks a little bit more of a broader view as to what's happening in the atmosphere. All right, here we are. We just passed 7 o'clock. 7 minutes past 7, you want to be technical. And we've got tornado warnings in effect right now for extreme eastern Lee County, right? We've got central Simpson County. We've got south central Simpson County included, and then a flash flood warning that goes for all of Jefferson County and northern sections of Adams County because of that storm that moved very close to Natchez. We're still looking at a rough storm. You see this? It's now,
Yes.
the one over there across the river, that's going to move more towards Wilkinson County probably in the next hour or so. But again, the weather north and west of Jackson, there's just a lot of rain, and nobody's complaining about that. I mean,
No, we really need the rain.
yeah, so if there's one benefit from all this, it is the fact that this is really helping us out with our situation, because if you're not getting the severe weather, you're at least getting a pretty steady, if not moderate rain that is falling across the area. So this is the situation, 7:08 p.m., and this is the weather that we're watching. I'm curious about the storm in Franklin County. We'll keep an eye on that, see if that one starts getting out of hand. But beyond that, what are you seeing?
I want to take a look here at the tornado warning that they still have for Leake County. It's not looking super impressive, but it could still have the potential to maybe get a little bit of rotation, although it's not looking as impressive as it was a couple minutes ago.
You know, all these things they have a little swirl to them. All right, that's what you have to understand. When you put them in motion, maybe we could do that. Put some of these storms in motion just for folks, and they'll get an idea. And when you see the swirl, the rotation, you got to pay attention to it because that's your indicator. Now that's in the air. Is it translating to being on the ground? That's really the big question here. And so when we're watching these storms, they all have a little bit of some rotation to them. Sloppy at times. That one looks sloppy to me. But you know, it looks like it's got some tentacles to it, so to speak,
Yes.
of the heavier rain. So we got to pay attention to that. But again, that looks more like it's just a regular old thunderstorm at this point, a severe one with the potential of putting out a tornado. Let's go farther south, do the same thing you're doing, and just kind of look at that storm that's been really in southern Simpson County and northern Lawrence and northern Jefferson Davis and northeastern Lincoln County. It's a bunch of counties that it's touching. And you could see that as we put this into motion, this may give you the same kind of impression because this inflow notch that we've been seeing, you could see it. It kind of just like curls its way in. There's a broad rotation. It's very slow, but it's there. And these little nodes, if you will, keep forming on the front side of it. I think that's what's tapping in right to the instability and to all of that. So this just gives you an idea as to what's going on in the atmosphere right now. Let's do this on the bigger view. Let's zoom out while you're doing that, while you're putting it into motion here, and show folks what it looks like on the overall view of the area. And you can see that, yeah, there's a little bit of rotation. Even that one that's in Madison County, look at it here.
Yeah, it's
right?
starting to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Just a little
concern
bit.
for sure. So let's zoom in on Madison and Yazoo for a second if we can. This is north of the city of Madison, by the way. We're going to zoom in here for you just to get, and take a look at that. See, that's concerning, isn't it?
That's when that notch is starting to
Yeah, and we're seeing that a lot.
A little bit.
Put that into motion again if we can. We're looking just west of the Nissan plant, just east of the township of Livingston. And
Yeah,
you
there's-
can see, there
yeah.
you go. And so you've got this little area of rotation. You got to pay attention to this stuff. That's what we're doing here. And that's why, you know, Ashley and I go back and forth, because what we're trying to do is bounce things off each other, make sure we don't miss anything. She sees things that I don't see. I see things, well, no, let's just be honest. She sees things that I don't see. So anyway, the bottom line is, so that's what we're doing right now, is we're trying to, you know, watch everything here and not miss anything that's popping up on the radar, because we're still in this volatile atmosphere. And again, that goes until 11 o'clock. We got a tornado watch in effect for every place in central and southwest Mississippi, with the exception of Humphreys, Issaquena, and Sharkey counties. But we got to be on alert. That's what we're doing here. And we want to give you the first alert on any of these storms that possibly get going. What else are you seeing right now, Ashley?
We do also have reports coming in from our newsroom that power lines are down in Copiah County.
Okay, so it seems like so far, the most amount of reports of damage have come in from Copiah County by
Yes.
far, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've had some other reports, very isolated here or there, but as far as any damage coming in, that's it. There's that new tornado warning. There we
Yep.
go. Look at that.
There it is.
And that is for Franklin as well as Lincoln County. So let's jump on it. This affects the city of Brookhaven. So Brookhaven, you are now involved in this new tornado warning going on in effect. This will go until 8:15. This
Yes.
goes until 8:15 this evening. This is 7 miles southeast of Meadville, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Little Springs, that's southeast of Meadville, and that's moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. Radar indicates rotation. So this is a storm that we're going to watch. Let's track it out here if we can, up towards Brookhaven. And again, this is the new tornado warning that just came up. This includes south central, central Lincoln County, and southeastern Franklin County in southwest Mississippi. So as we plot it out here, Brookhaven about 7:37, about 20, maybe 30 minutes. And new site about 7:41, West Lincoln about 7:24, and the community of Zetas about 7:30. So a new storm to track for you. We kind of felt that this was still the atmosphere that was relatively charged up and being tapped into. And, right? Wasn't it 10 minutes
Yes.
ago? I looked at that storm and I said, what about
Right.
this one?
Yep.
And that's what happens, folks. So we kind of expected at this point in time. We're going to continue to monitor, of course, for any damage reports coming out of it. It does look like on the southwest side of it, near Little Springs, right where the tornado is located on radar, that's where it's starting to tighten up. 98, Highway 98. Getting close to Little Springs, would you agree? Can we throw
Yes.
wind flow on it
Yes.
real quick, and let's check the winds, see what we've got on that. There you go.
There's that area of interest right there.
And that's, you see what's going on here? Again, that notch, there's a
Yes.
notch. Auburn is a community right there on Highway 98 that's east of it. And Auburn had a pretty bad tornado a few years ago. I was on the air reporting on that. Look at these winds, 74 miles per hour wind gusts. So, you know, this is giving us the idea that's damaging winds. We know it's there. We're seeing it. We're measuring it in the atmosphere. And that's moving towards Little Springs. Now, I want to alert you, if you're in Auburn, especially north of town, all right, that's where you need to be very careful. And then eventually Bogachita, the city of Bogachita, and Brookhaven, you're down the line with this storm. But it's moving at a pretty good clip. What did I say it was moving at, 40?
40, yes.
Yeah, going northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you're in Brookhaven, you need to get ready for this. And again, we've got our first alert storm tracker. He's just north of you. Currently in the southern part of Copiah County, so we'll keep monitoring that. But this is a new storm that's coming out of the Homachita State Forest, and this is moving right across central areas of Franklin County. So you haven't been mentioned much tonight in the weather, Franklin County. You had a tornado warning for just a small part of the county earlier, but now this is a larger storm cell that's moving over the county, and it's the southern part of it that's really starting to act up. So Meadville, you're not really in this tornado warning per se, but you start getting to the eastern part of the county, McCall Creek, and then you could see, look at that line, it
There's
goes
that
right
new-
across, yeah, there's a new scan. And look what's going on here even farther southwest. You see this?
Yes, I see it, yep.
by the town of Busy Corner, which is busy tonight, if you
Yes.
ask me.
Yes, it is.
And that's where the backside of this storm is starting to develop. So what do you see with these storms, Ashley, when they start back building like that? I mean,
They can start cycling, and that's what we've been talking about. You still need to be weather aware. Even if the system is starting to look a little messy, there is still the potential for these storms to backbuild. And what we mean by that is that they're still tapping into some energy. Over the next couple of minutes, we could still see that storm starting to make that notch again. But yeah.
yeah, so we're not done. The party's not over just yet. I will tell you something to feel good about. This is not going to be an overnight severe weather event. All right, so, you know, Ashley and I have been looking at this all day. We even talked about this last week. We said, oh, is this going to go into Tuesday? Doubtful. It really looks doubtful that we make it, you know, much past 11 o'clock. And I still feel, I said this about an hour ago, I still feel it's going to be probably a couple more hours of this, 9, 10 o'clock or so, before this weather really starts to die down. But for the most part here, this is all a lot of radar stuff that we're going to be sharing with you this evening, because we just don't have a lot of ground truth reports. And when I say ground truth reports, that means people on the ground saying there's a tornado. I see it. It just came through. That's good. Okay, but it's also bad because it'd be better if we had people that could see what's actually happening on the ground instead of waiting for it to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say on this. So that's what we're looking at right now. That's where we have our tornado warning. So we've got a tornado warning here, a really small box in the eastern part of Lee County. Got one in central Simpson County. Got another one here, south central Simpson County. By the way, Jefferson Davis, northern Lawrence County, you're out of the tornado warning, at least for the time being, because in Lincoln County, it's going strong again with this new system that is just starting to develop now, where Highway 98 and 84 split.
Yes.
And so that's where they split in Franklin County. That's exactly about where this storm cell is, a little bit farther east maybe on Highway 98. Natchez, you're getting some heavy rain right now. I mean, you've had a night. You had a lot of lightning and some heavy rain earlier. Now you're getting it again. Flash flood warning in effect for parts of the city of Natchez, especially the northern part of Adams County. That means flash flooding is happening. It's imminent. And it's still raining. And it's still raining near Fayette as well. And then we're looking southwest. And I don't know, you want to talk about that storm? I don't want to talk about it, but you can.
Yes, well, unfortunately, we're going to continue to keep an eye on it as it heads closer towards Wilkinson County. Right now, that warning is radar confirmed tornado. Hopefully we'll start to see that weekend as it gets closer, but that is where it's at this time.
All right, so the most amount of information and damage we've been getting tonight has been coming from Copiah County. So I want to go back to our first alert storm tracker if we can get him ready and see what's going on there, because that's where it seems like the worst of the weather has been tonight, right here, where the weather's now starting to improve. And it looks like they're on the road again. And so let's go to our first alert storm tracker. Quentin, can you hear me? Quentin Smith in the first alert storm tracker. What are you seeing right now? And where are you at? I don't think Quentin can hear me necessarily, but it looks like he's close to the intersection of where I-55 is located. So just panning off to the side just to show us what's going on there. Looks like a tow truck possibly passing him on the left from what I can see, or a utility truck. I see a bunch of flashing lights there, so there's definitely some activity going on where he is, but it looks like just mainly wet roads and a bunch of leaves on those roads. So at least he's about to go under 55. I think I know where he is right now. So he's moving through Brookhaven. He's about to go under 55, and as you can see, traffic's flowing. So that's a good sign right off the bat. But we've had an extensive amount of power failures tonight, power outages reported in Hazelhurst. So.
Yes, most of them are coming out of Copiah County. We do still have about 12,700 customers without power, and that's most of that, again, is coming out of Copiah County.
All right, so let's look at this map here real quick, all right? And here you got the city of Jackson. You've got some showers all around the city of Jackson. It's raining. At least we're getting some rain, right? We're not going to complain about the rain. We're just complaining about what could come with it. But it's so far, all the rough weather has spared the immediate metro. The roughest of this weather has spared the immediate metro for the time being. But where we have these small tornado warnings, we've got this one for eastern Lee County. I would imagine that's going to go away, right?
Yes, they're talking about most likely canceling that.
Okay, so that That one's probably going to go away. Lee County, you can rest a little easier. We still have had no reports of damage in Lee County. And let me know if I need to be corrected on that. But Ashley, I have not heard anything of damage.
I haven't heard anything as well. Nothing really showing up on the chat. And nothing really posted also on social media.
Okay, and then we just checked in with, let's go to Simpson County here. Simpson County, we checked in a little while ago, and we talked to the sheriff, and he said that there was a tree blocking Highway 28. Okay, so a tree's blocking Highway 28, but we still have tornado warnings in effect for the city of Mendenhall and also Pinola. But at this point, that's really it. You see this bigger rectangle here is for a severe thunderstorm warning, so it's not the same thing. Our most, I'd say, dynamic storm, the most intense one that is showing up right now on radar is this one coming out of Franklin County and headed towards Brookhaven. So let's spend a little more time on this particular cell and see what's going on with it. But that cell is definitely more intense, and you can see that this is where it's traveling. It's traveling very close to Highway 84, where Highway 84 and 98 kind of split in the middle of the county or come together, however you want to look at it, whatever your perspective on life is. This is how that storm is going to push eastward towards Brookhaven. In our planning meeting earlier this afternoon, Quentin and I were talking, and I said, Quentin, you're probably your best bet, right? Ashley, you were there for this. Your
Yes.
best bet is to go to Brookhaven and kind of use that as your base of operations for tonight's severe weather event, because we felt that's where most of the storm cells would be. And in fact, that's where they have been. Most of them have been there. When I say in this area, I'm talking really Copiah County, Simpson County, and now we're seeing this particular cell that's moving northeastward. Let's do a wind scan on it again. And I also want to do a hail scan on this particular storm to kind of see where we're going. We still have those intense winds on the south side of it, so it seems like it's really tapping into the atmosphere right on the southern flank. Am I correct?
Yes. Winds are looking 66 miles an hour. So they're 67, excuse me. So there's some pretty gusty winds still.
Yeah, and that's moving northeast. So let me just tell you, if you're in Franklin County or you don't know Franklin County that well, where it's moving between 98 and 84, it's heavily wooded in this particular area as you get closer to the Lincoln County border. Then once you cross over in Lincoln County, you're going to get closer to Brookhaven, and then it becomes into a more populated area. But right now we're still seeing some pretty impressive winds. Can we do hail scan too? Just
Yes.
let's see. I just don't want to miss anything with this particular storm. There's a little hail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a little hail here. This is west of Little Springs, a little hail near Little Springs. And then up by Weston, that was from the storm earlier, right? That was from the storm that came through a little while ago that did some quarter-size hail when it went across the highway.
Yeah, so I just got a text from our Holly Emery. She said that Sheriff Mullins in Simpson County said that all we have is trees on 28 at Strong River and trees down in the Jupiter area. No structural damage reported at this time.
Okay, so let's go back to that storm in Madison County for a second, Ashley, if we can. I just want to make sure we're not taking our eyes off that. And you can see it's getting closer to Canton here. It's not severe warned or tornado warned or anything like that. But earlier this evening, we had a little bit of a scare, right? We had that storm that came through Gluckstadt. And I want to go to Albert Jones right now. He's joining us on the phone, Madison County's Emergency Management Director. Good evening, Mr. Jones. And were there any reports of damage from the county tonight?
Yes, the only damage that we received were at this time is trees being down.
Okay.
Trees. Yes, sir.
So nobody injured and just your typical probably litany of power outages and maybe some roads kind of blocked a little bit temporarily.
Well, a couple of roads are blocked, but we do not have a large area with power outages at this time.
Okay, what roads, do you mind if I get specific with you? What roads do you know of that are blocked currently?
Right now, you're looking at the Rankin Road area,
Okay.
the Sharon Road area, Radley Ferry, and Robinson Road area.
All right.
I'm pretty sure as the night go on, we may find some more, but as of now, that's where we are.
Well,
My staff as well as the Sheriff's Department deputies.
absolutely. Well, Mr. Jones, I was told I only have you for a short period of time. I want to let you get back to work, but I'm grateful that you took a moment to talk with us, all right? You have a good evening and stay safe.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. That was Albert Jones, Madison County Emergency Management Director. Appreciate him taking a moment to join us and give us a brief update on what's going on in Madison County. You know, again, we were talking about, Gluckstadt, that tornado just blossoming on radar right over Gluckstadt a little while ago, and that quickly moved through the Canton area. We had a debris ball on it. I mean, you saw
did,
that.
yes.
And it's one of those things, if a tree falls in the woods, what's the saying? If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, you know what? Write me on Facebook and set me straight. But the bottom line is, it was one of those things. It can pick up debris, sure, in the woods, in the forest, but again, fortunately, it's just trees. So we're okay with that versus the alternative of being people or material things. But you could see that most of that has lifted northeast. We're still watching some heavy rain near Canton, but for a moment, things got a little hairy, right?
Yeah, there was that notch earlier.
Yeah, that was an impressive notch.
Yes.
And that was near Gluckstadt, and we tracked it, and then we had the debris ball for a brief moment of time, and across Highway 16, but fortunately we haven't had those reports. And as Mr. Jones said, Albert Jones from Emergency Management said, yeah, well, we just have a bunch of trees down, so that's good news, some smaller trees. But let's go to the bigger view of radar now. And the bigger view of radar shows you that you could see this is where we currently have our warnings. So this one's going to go bye-bye in a moment, the one in Lee County, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then we've got this small little area here of central Simpson. We'll have to wait and see on how that evolves. You know, it's moving towards the eastern part of Simpson County. Mendenhall's included in that tornado warning, Pinola as well. And then the bigger storm is still in Franklin and headed towards Lincoln County. Not much happening west of Jackson. Vicksburg, you're pretty much done with this rough weather, I'd say, at this point. I would say Natchez, I don't want to say you're out of the tornadic threat by any means, because you've still got some nasty storms around town. And in Natchez itself, it is pouring down rain, and you have some flash flooding concerns. So we're still not done. Macomb, Monticello, Prentice, Tylertown. You still haven't had this weather move in yet. So you're still on the front side of the storm where the atmosphere is still primed to develop some thunderstorms. But if you're in Belzona, if you're in Rolling Fork, if you're in Mayersville, it's pretty much it. The weather's done for you. You're not going to have to worry about any severe weather for the rest of tonight.
So I know we were just talking about that earlier storm we saw near Gluckstadt. There has been a storm report now of a reported tornado at Sharon and Robinson Road.
Okay, so it's Sharon and Robinson Road, but that's earlier. That's
that was
not
earlier.
Ongoing.
This is not right now.
All right, any damage associated with it, or is it just what a storm spotter said, hey, I saw a tornado?
Just an official
okay.
Observation.
Okay, so that was just an observation.
Yes.
All right. So we'll take that under advisement, and it's possible there was a brief tornado and it just didn't do any real damage, which we're happy about. That's fine. It's the ones that come into town, like the one that was very close to Carthage on radar. That kind of concerned us there for a moment, which is why we jumped on immediately and warned you of it. And we're of course we really gave you a big heads up, I think, on the Copiah County storm. And fortunately, there's not a lot of damage with that, except for in exactly the Hazelhurst area, especially the south part of town. So this is the area that we're really most concerned with right now, is what's going to happen in Brookhaven before long. So let's go focus in on this storm. It's getting closer to you in Brookhaven right now. Tornado warning in effect right now, and let's map it out so we can tell folks how long they have until the core of this storm arrives in Brookhaven. Again, this is moving more northeastward, and as it moves more northeastward, we're just going to go outside of the boundary here for a little bit. Brookhaven, probably going to be about 10 minutes, 11 minutes if you want to be technical. And then Lake Lincoln State Park, 7:51 is probably when it's going to arrive there. And then we're back at Sontag. You're dealing with the severe weather threat again, but that'll be 7:59. Remains questionable how strong this storm will be when it gets there, but we certainly believe there's going to be some heavy rain with it at least as it moves in. But we're not getting any reports right now out of Franklin County as to any kind of additional damage or things like that. Let's check in with the video real quick, see where our first alert storm tracker is now located. Just get an idea, and if you could tell me in the booth maybe where he's located, or at least give me an approximate fix which direction he's heading in right now. I just want to get an idea. Also, we're getting some heavy rain now over the city of Jackson. That's starting to fall too. So this is what we currently have going on across much of the area. Let's go to the bigger view of radar just to show everybody. And if we can, maybe throw up a cam, Ashley, when you get a chance, of what's happening outside, at least in Jackson, because you can see there's some heavy rain There's some rain coming in right now into the city of Jackson. So you could see that we have the rain falling now in downtown, and the rain is welcome. If we could just have it with all the other, without all the other stuff that it's bringing with it tonight, we would all be happy campers. But I'm just curious, have you seen what our rainfall has been around the area so far this evening? I'm curious to see what the rainfall amounts have been. They're gonna, if we show you the radar image, it's going to be a little contaminated maybe because of hail, but it'll at least give you an idea as to what kind of rain has fallen out there. And, you know, this is a very welcome kind of thing. We have a new warning, by the way, but it's not a tornado warning. So it's a downstream warning for Simpson County. But I want to show you the rainfall first. All right. So this looks to me like it's got a little hail mixed into it. What do you think?
I agree. It's those where those higher values are is kind of where those storms were tracking earlier. I wouldn't be surprised, again, as you mentioned, if that had some hail associated with it.
But I feel like when you look at those dark blues, I mean, you're talking about an inch of rain. So
Yes.
we're seeing that. We're seeing that in the lower Delta. We're seeing that where you
Inch
just
and a
plotted
half.
that in Rankin County. We didn't have any hail in southern Rankin County earlier this
No.
evening. So that's probably valid that we've seen an inch and a half in some spots. And that's great news.
Yes.
Half inch there, that's close to Satartia. This is really the welcome news that we were looking for across much of our area. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and this is going to be really downstream of the tornado warning in Simpson County. So you see things are cleaning up here on the map. We no longer have in Lee County a tornado warning. We no longer have a tornado warning in Simpson County. So we right now have a tornado warning for Franklin and Lincoln counties, and now McGee. I know I've been mentioning you a bunch. McGee and Mize, you are both together in this. You have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and we're still looking at heavy rain moving across northern Madison County. So the situation is really areas, I would say, and I don't want to be married to this, but I'd say close to Highway 84 and southward, that's where the most vulnerability remains, right?
Yes.
As we go through the next couple of hours, because that's the atmosphere that hasn't been really plugged into yet.
And it looks like we have some good news. I know we're still keeping an eye on what's going on in Louisiana. It looks like that a radar confirmed tornado has been dropped off. So
Okay.
it looks like it's starting to lose some strength.
Yeah, so I don't want to tell you to let your guard down yet, especially if you're in Simpson or Smith or Lincoln or Franklin counties. I don't want you to let your guard down yet because we still have this tornado warning in effect for Franklin County, and we got to be on guard here. But if you're in Brookhaven, you still want to take your precautions right now. The thing about the storm is you've had plenty of time to be warned about it, so we don't want you to loosen up and say, well, nothing's happened so far, nothing's going to happen. The storm is just approaching you now from the southwest, and if you're in Brookhaven, again, cover yourself from flying debris and protect yourself. That's the most important thing you can do. A bathtub sometimes is suitable as long as you can keep away from windows, and that's really your safest bet. Bathtubs tend to be very sturdy objects when it comes to any kind of flying debris and stuff, and you can take shelter in those if you don't have another place to take shelter. But you could see that for the most part, this is our only area where we have a tornado warning that is currently in effect. So we're covering the storm here from many different angles. We've got, of course, our first alert storm tracker on the road tonight. We've been focusing on some of the damage there, but this is the tornado warning until 8:15. This is including Franklin and Lincoln counties. And, you know, we're at 7:30-ish right now. So we'll see if this holds together as we continue to monitor this storm. It could get worse. It could actually pulse up in intensity, or it could actually weaken a little bit further. But right now, the most populous place in front of it would be Brookhaven, and then you've got Bogachita, and Auburn is kind of just on the line here. The Auburn community is just on the line with this storm. But you know, Highway 84 is another major road that goes through here. You start getting out towards the border between Lincoln and Franklin counties. That's where you just got wall-to-wall heavy rain. Meteorologist Todd Adams, he was in northern Madison County earlier. He said it was just sideways rain. That's how hard the wind was blowing everything. And, you know, a few years ago, Auburn, you were hit by a pretty significant tornado. You got a lot of damage. I remember it. I was on the air when that happened. But at this point, that storm may be just going north of you, going north of Auburn, north of even Center Point. So we'll watch it as it moves northeastward. Let's do a wind scan on it again. And just to get an idea, I'm going to stand over here so you can see a little bit better. There's a lot of wind in this. So it looks like it's really tapping in on the southern end of the storm. I'll step out of the way here for you. 68 mile per hour wind gusts. You know, again, that's been pretty standard with what we've been seeing tonight.
That's right. And even though we are still under this tornado warning and there still could be some broad circulation, straight line winds can be just as damaging with these storms as well.
So this is what's happening with this particular storm cell right now. We have it just to the west of West Lincoln. Haven't had any additional reports on it, though. Have we had even a follow-up yet on it? So,
We have not.
Okay, so we're going to wait and see. But again, it's almost not fair because it's south of Highway 84. It's really heavily wooded out here in this part. So you're not going to have a lot of reports from on the ground as to what's going on anyway until it gets into a more populated area. And unfortunately, you don't really see that until you get to West Lincoln, and then you get more towards Brookhaven and Boca Chica right there on US 51. So once you start getting into those communities, and that'll be right up on you at that point. But it looks like there's some kind of vortex in the middle of the screen. As I see it. Let's zoom in on that South Aleutian. And that's right there on Bill Lofton Road and Burt Jordan Road, and right in there. So that's an area that we're going to watch for you. Tabernacle Road, and then eventually over towards Patrick Road before it starts getting out of the county. But this is the area that's most active. So we're going to wait until it gets closer to Highway 84, which we think that's going to happen when it gets close to like West Lincoln.
And we do now have a new tornado warning for Adams County.
All right, let's go to that because that probably has to do with that storm cell we were talking about. And that's going to be the southern part of Adams County. Am I correct? Yep.
Yes.
Look at that. Well, that's a weird configuration, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's going to be for the southern part of Adams County. That's really far south from Natchez. We will watch this storm as it moves across the city of Natchez, but it seems like the tornadic portion of it is really far to the south.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, this is the view that we're seeing right now. Centerville also has some heavy rain that's falling in your area too. But the worst of the weather is really going to be, and they just adjusted the tornado warning. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, they did.
Let's move over to that. Franklin and Lincoln counties now. They took a good portion of Franklin County out of the tornado warning, and they kept it in place. So Little Springs is out, McCall Creek is still in, West Lincoln is still in, and over through about Brookhaven and down through Boca Chica. That's where the heaviest of the weather is still taking place.
And I'm looking at this little, just new radar image came in. This little, it looks kind of like an S shape is what would be the area of interest here in this tornado warning.
Okay, and why don't you go closer in on that just to show folks? Looks like a seahorse almost.
Yes.
But that's the area that we're watching that would have West Lincoln Drive, which is getting closer to, Jackson Liberty Road and West Lincoln, which comes up here by Highway 84. That's going to be the area that we'll have to watch most closely as this storm cell kind of moves in that direction. So that's going to be the next thing to watch. Again, right now in a very heavily wooded area of Franklin County, but eventually coming out of it before long. So this is the bigger view. And you can see Brookhaven is still in front of this storm as the storm starts moving in. Why don't you plot it out there? There we go. And this will update you on the time frame. Zetas, 7:51, Brookhaven. We're now going to push you back a little bit to 7:57. And then the community of Weston, 8:07, Beauregard, 8:09. The tornado warning goes until 8:15. So this storm is moving. It looks like maybe it's moving a little slower than before, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see here.
It's now moving at 35 miles
Okay, we
an hour.
now have a new tornado warning.
Yes.
Okay, new tornado warning just coming out. This is going to be for Simpson and Smith County.
Yes, that storm is moving now at 35 miles an hour. So
All right,
they've slowed up a little bit.
Yeah, so this is now let's go switch over to Simpson County. McGee is now under a tornado warning. And look at that storm. Look at that. You
Yep.
see it? That notch is showing up now just west of town. All right, folks in McGee, this is your time now. The storm is on your door. You need to go to your safe spot immediately. McGee, Maddox, up through Cohey, on the east side of town especially, but now the storm cell is just west of the Walmart okay, just west of downtown McGee, and it's going to be moving across the highway here before long. So now's not the time to be traveling on the roads here. It's a 7:40 at night, and we've got the potential of a tornado here. Let me give you the latest information on it. This is a new tornado warning being issued for southeastern Simpson County, including McGee, and central Smith County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Sanatorium, very close to McGee. This is moving 35 miles per hour. So let's take a look right here. This is where it is. Almost northwest of town here. And that's where the actual storm cell is located. So we've got some rotation in there. That's where it is, just northwest of town. And this is going to be moving across Highway 49 here in the next few minutes. So McGee is under a tornado warning. The storm is just about to move in from the west. You could see Martinville here. We had some large hail there not too long ago with the previous storm cell. But this is what's starting to happen now. Mendenhall, you're not included in this, but you know there's some rough weather going on all across Simpson County. There's Sanatorium. You see it there on 49? So just drop south of there. And we think that's where the cell is going to cross McGee. Yes. So, okay, to give you an idea, if you don't know McGee, there's a lot going on in McGee right now. They got the new Zaxby's. I pay attention to these things. They got the new Zaxby's in McGee, and then you look west, all right, and you've got this particular storm cell that is just going to cross northwest of town, very close to Sanatorium. So it's still going to cover up McGee, but the actual tornadic part of the cell, am I right, Ashley?
Yes.
Is probably right in here, just the northwest of the city.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so let's take a look here. And there's McGee. And like I said, you've got the Walmart, you got Highway 149 where it kind of crisscrosses 49. And then you got the Hardee's on the north end of town. You got to go a little bit farther, just a few miles outside of town, and you get to Sanatorium. And that's where this storm is probably going to cross the road. But McGee's still going to get impacted by the storm, maybe just not the tornadic portion. But this is definitely curious, is it not?
Yes, I was just about to point out that feature. It looks like something's coming together.
Yeah, very quickly. So let's just stay on it here for a minute, wait for the radar scan to come in, and we can kind of give folks a better idea. McGee here at the bottom of your screen, as you can see. There are all the city streets with McGee, and then we're watching very close to Sanatorium, where we think the tornadic part of the cell is at least in the air over Sanatorium by Golf Course Road, and then about to go over 49, and then get over to about Walter Jones Road. So, yep, it's one of those things, folks, where this weather's going to keep doing it until all the energy is zapped out of the atmosphere, and that should happen here in the next couple of hours. Let me know if you see anything on the chat.
They've just said that the rotation has picked back up near McGee.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we come out just a little bit more? And I just want to show folks that even if the tornadic part of the cell goes north of McGee, they're still going to get walloped by that cell on the south side. You see that coming into town there on the west?
Yep.
So let me step in front of the screen here just to give folks an idea. All right, so McGee's right here. This cell is going to come across town. We think the tornadic part of the cell is right in here. So that's where things have really been getting active in the last couple of minutes. And that's where that storm is really starting to come together. And then eventually it'll impact Dry Creek and all that. Still kind of messy on the wind scan, would you agree? It's just a lot of wind out here.
Yes, not looking too impressive, but there is still that notch there, that broad area of rotation.
Yep, and so we'll wait to see as it moves across. Should have an updated scan here any second just so we can kind of see what's going on. But if you're in McGee, take cover at this time. Sanatorium especially, this is going to continue moving northeastward. It's going to be closer probably to Cohay once it starts getting going into parts of Smith County. And there you go, Sanatorium. It seems to be where the cell is located now. We don't have that weird deformation that was showing up on the radar a little while ago. But we certainly have a pretty intense part of the cell here. There's definitely something going on here. The wind scan, as you showed, didn't really reveal too much to us. So we should have an idea. But things are moving at a pretty good pace. 35, I think this one's going 35 miles an hour northeast.
Yes.
So it will be over McGee here before long. But you can see this is Sanatorium right in the middle of your screen, which is a smaller community than McGee, just located north of town. And that's where we believe the tornado is located. We will check back in, by phone. We'll check back in with the sheriff, Sheriff Mullins, Simpson County to see if there's any damage being reported. But so far, you've heard nothing. I've heard nothing.
No.
And the news department isn't telling me anything
There's
either.
the
So
new scan.
new scan just came in. Doesn't show us too much, does it?
No.
Pretty much shows heavy rain, which we knew. Rough weather, awful weather. I wouldn't want to be driving out in this.
No.
That's for sure. But that's exactly what's going on right now. I'll pop back in the screen here for y'all so you can see me. But let's go back to the bigger view here. And you can see that the storm is now over McGee. See that heavy rain right over McGee? So the storm is over McGee now. And then you can see Brookhaven is starting to get some rough weather as well. You know, we still got some heavy rain going on in Madison County here, the northern part of Madison County, and even around Ridgeland.
It's still looking a little
Suspect.
Yes, a little suspect.
Sus.
Yes.
That's what they say nowadays, sus. And you know what? We're going to go check in Madison County. Let's go up there. We're going to go to Brendan Hall, who is standing by right now. What are you seeing for us right now? Brendan?
Well, Dave, I'm going to keep it brief because we just had emergency responders get to the scene of what appears to be some sort of debris fire out here in Madison County. You can probably tell it's raining out here, but aside from that, not too much in terms of the conditions are very bad, no wind, anything like that. But we're not sure if this fire that my photog Nathan has given you a look at is the result of lightning or what have you, but we were actually heading to Sharon and Rankin Road, which I believe is outside the city limits of Canton, but in Madison County, because we were told there were some trees down in that area, and the smell of fire and smoke just became overwhelming, so we stopped and actually called the emergency responders out here. They just got to the scene, so we're going to get out of the way and let them take care of what they need to take care of out here. But that's the very latest from here in Madison County. I'm Brendan Hall. Back to you guys.
Hey, Brendan, I'm just curious if you could still hear me. What's on fire exactly? Is it just a pile of debris that's on fire, or is it a tree, or is it some object?
It's pretty dark out here. We're just in a lot full of dirt. You can see some construction equipment, so I'm assuming it might be some debris. It doesn't look like a tree unless it toppled over or anything like that, but I am going to ask the emergency responders and see if we can get some answers for those of you at home.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brendan Hall, Madison County, where it's still raining up there. Be safe. Again, a debris fire spotted by our Brendan Hall, so he's getting more information on that. The first responders on the scene. McGee, heavy rain falling right now.
We do not have a radar confirmed tornado.
Okay, and that's why it just went to a white box here.
Yes.
All right, so give us the information on that, Ashley.
Yeah, so now it is a radar confirmed tornado. Again, this is moving at a northeast at 35 miles an hour. And yeah, it's been radar confirmed. There is a little bit of debris ball that has been reported with this.
Okay, and where's that located?
Now that has been near Sanatorium, excuse me.
It's okay, say that 5 times fast, right? But near Sanatorium, that's where we've had potential debris as it came across the highway not too long ago. So Mary Grove Church Road, Charlie James Road, these areas, but I think we're closer to 541 on where the location of this actual storm cell is.
It does look to include a little bit of McGee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew the bad part of that storm was going to come right over McGee. And just to give you an idea, right here, can you just pan down a little bit? That's the Walmart parking lot right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's okay. There we go. Right there. So, we're looking here at, this is right over the center part of McGee, and that's where the worst of the weather is. And then, of course, we're looking north of town, and on 541 is where we think the actual tornadic cell is. It is just going to rain a ton right now over McGee, and the wind is blowing hard. So it's a bad storm, but we think the actual cell, the tornadic cell, is now north of town and is moving northeast. And again, the rain, I think that just updated the scan while we talked. Yeah. So Dry Creek Road, over through Maddox, but it's probably here on 541 or up by Dry Creek Road that we actually have the tornadic cell right now moving northeast out of McGee. So that's important to keep in mind. The other bad news, Ashley, is Wilkinson County now under a tornado warning. Mm-hmm. Wilkinson County, we're going to pay attention to this particular storm. If we can, we'll zoom out here. This just shows you the radar observed tornado warning that's now for Simpson as well as Lincoln. But southern Adams and northern Wilkinson have a tornado warning now in effect. This is important because if this continues northeastward towards Franklin County, that could put Franklin County on another tornado warning, possibly in the future. We'll wait and see because this may move more towards the east, and it could weaken. But this is an active night, is it not? And so we could be looking at more weather with this storm as it moves from west to east across the area. Central Mississippi right now, not much going on in the metro, except for, of course, what Brendan Hall reported, that there's a debris fire in Madison County. You zoom out here, here's what's happening. There's Jackson in the middle of the screen. Northwest Rankin, where there's some heavy rain that's currently falling across the portions of Rankin County. And then we do have the confirmed, or radar observed tornado, I should say, coming out of eastern Simpson and into southern areas of Smith County. So this gives you an idea as to what's happening right now. If you're in McGee, you're dealing with some really rough weather. It's going to be about 15 more minutes until this clears out. But if you're in Raleigh, you're under this tornado warning as well. And Mize, you're included too. So again, these areas, Raleigh, Silverina, over through Mize, not Taylorsville, not right now, but Mize, Center Ridge, Cohay, Silverina, and Raleigh are all under this tornado warning as this storm is now moving from southwest to northeast. It's northeast of McGee. Even though you can see McGee's covered up with the rain, the tornadic part of the cell is actually just outside of town, north and east of McGee, and it's moving towards Raleigh.
Winfield is not looking super impressive at
No.
the moment. However, if we do take a look at radar, you do notice that little bow, which is the area of interest that we typically look at when it comes to circulations. But as of right now, not looking super impressive on our wind scans.
Right. And I think that's important to note, which is a good sign. We're just not getting the reports in right now. We're seeing a lot of this radar indicated stuff tonight, aren't we? Radar confirmed, radar observed, whatever. But you're not seeing the reports, which we're happy about. Really, the only damage report we've had so far is some limited damage in Madison and some limited damage in Copiah counties. So this right here is one storm. Let's go to the Brookhaven storm and update folks on what's happening with that one. And you can see that Brookhaven's in the heavy rain too, but the core of that storm is located near West Lincoln. And I'm seeing that notch again.
Yes.
I know you see it too. Why don't you focus on that for a second? This is right here, south of Highway 84, and this is approaching Brookhaven from the south and west. So here's Brookhaven right here. All right, and so this is where the cell is to the southwest. And it just updated really quick there. So now this is about to move into the south part of town. Let's put the downtown Brookhaven in the. There we go, and you could see that we're currently by Auburn Drive Southwest, and this is going to intersect Highway 84 and 51 very shortly. So I know we've got our first alert storm tracker in Copiah County, but it's not far at all from this particular storm that's going to be moving over Brookhaven here in the next few minutes. Now, if you're in Brookhaven, again, you're watching TV, you're saying, Dave, it's already storming here. But the core of the storm, where the tornadic part of the cell is located farther southwest of town along Highway 84, and this is about to cross Interstate 55 in just a few minutes, and it will go right over 51, go right over downtown, and move very close to the city of Brookhaven, if not right over it. So take cover immediately in Brookhaven. This is staying just south of Zetas. Heavy rain in Zetas currently. That's going to continue, but this will stay south of Zetas, and this is going to go right over Brookhaven in the next few minutes, so we will know very soon if, in fact, this is on the ground or not, but this is a radar-indicated tornado that continues to move very close to Brookhaven. So I say we stay on this for a minute if you don't mind.
Now that notch is looking a little bit more prominent from new scans. Pulling up winds, again, not the most impressive, but there is still some decent winds here. I'll pull up.
And I think what concerns me is the notch matches the wind field so perfectly.
Yes. There's 72 mile an hour with this. So there is still some decent. There is still a decent wind field going on here. Right. With this notch.
I'm going to adjust something on the computer real quick.
Yes.
If you don't mind, if you could just keep talking for a little bit.
Yes. And
just give me a moment. I'm going to slide behind you here and work on something on the computer that will help us out with our coverage. So you keep doing.
Well, if you are just tuning in, we do have a few tornado warnings across the area right now. This is the current one for Simpson County right now that we're taking, or Lincoln County. As we take a look right now, this is a view from our home screen. taking a wide look of what's going on. This is a wide look of what's going on across the area right now. We do have one radar confirmed tornado warning. Now that is near McGee. As we continue to keep an eye on that, there is still a decent notch here. This is where the area of interest is going to be located as we continue to keep an eye on this storm. This is heading just east, I should say, of the Maddox area. If you are near County Road 50 or 503 South, as well as County Road 64, make sure to be in your safe place right now. We are still seeing this storm moving at 35 miles an hour to the northeast and just off to our east as well. We're also, again, keeping an eye on this system heading just south of Brookhaven right now, heading towards the Brookhaven area. Again, new radar scans really showing this notch that we're keeping an eye on right now. This was just matching up with the wind field that I just showed. There's that new scan. Not looking as impressive, however, there is still some decent area of some broad rotation that we're going to continue to keep an eye on as well. We also have another tornado warning just off to our south near Adams County that we're keeping an eye on. This system is moving in just from Louisiana right now. Still not looking super impressive. That main core of that system is just off to the southwest in Louisiana. Hasn't made across the border yet into Mississippi, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that as well. Okay, so now we are going to turn to Quentin, who's in our storm tracker. He is now in Copiah County. Quentin, what do you have for us?
And here's the big reason why. You can see power crews are out restoring power, flipping the switch, getting people here in Hazelhurst out of the dark. We know thousands of people here in Copiah County, they were without power. And so right now we have power crews going all throughout town restoring power. Right now we have a truck that we're gonna show you. This is a welcoming sight for many residents here in Hazelhurst and in Copiah County. The power is being restored. Two power trucks right here. A lot of these neighborhoods and these homes, they were in the dark the first time we rode through, and the first time you all took a live shot from us. Their power is now being restored. When it comes to how things are looking weather-wise, the rain has slacked up. It's not lighting as much as it once was. Still sporadic lightning here and there, but the rain has let up. No more thunder, so things are essentially all quiet and calm right now, and power crews are out restoring power to these neighborhoods. But that's the very latest for here right now. We're going to continue to cruise throughout Copiah County, and we'll, when we stumble upon something else, we'll be sure to let you all know.
All right, thank you so much, Quentin Smith. And our first alert storm tracker right now moving through Copiah County, examining some of the damage that's come from the storms tonight. We're also focused right now on Brookhaven. Let's go closer into Brookhaven. Again, we had a pretty good notch approaching the south side of town. I'm going to ask that we put on a debris tracker real quick and see if it's picking up anything with this storm. And again, it looks like a lot of noise. Doesn't look like there's anything necessarily showing up on it. So that's good news, right? We don't want to see anything on there if we can. Let's go over to McGee, do the same thing, and check the storm that's currently close to McGee and see if we're also picking up anything with that.
There is a little
yeah, it looks like a little something there on Highway
something.
28 east of town, right? This would be towards Maddox. So let's just pay attention to this for a moment. Again, Highway 28 crossing County Road 57. We are now really just about moving. We're in Smith County at this point, and this just came through the McGee area. So let's see what's going on with this particular storm here. Again, there's a lot of moving parts to this weather. This is just west of Mize, and it's just about the Maddox community east of McGee. It was a few years ago. There was a pretty bad tornado on the east side of McGee. Let's roll it for a few minutes. Can you do that, or did it already just update on us?
It did just update.
Okay, so it looks like it's gone, right? It looks like it's been absorbed, which is good. So that's the story there. We don't really have any other tornado warnings per se. Let's zoom out a little bit more and go back to regular radar. and just take a look at what we're dealing with here. Just want to make sure we're not missing anything. I'm looking over my list of stuff. We have going on right now in the southwest corner of our state, Wilkinson County, a new tornado warning for you, as we mentioned before. That's in the northern part of Wilkinson and southern Adams. And then this is the radar indicated. Give us a little update on what we're seeing with that one that's on the Simpson as well as Smith County border. This is east of McGee.
Yes, it looks like we've got a decent notch going on here. I'm going to put on a wind tracker here. There is still some decent wind associated. There's that new updated scan here,
yeah.
and that's starting to look pretty nasty here.
Yeah, can we just check what winds look like on there?
Yes.
Just curious about that.
50, 43 miles an hour.
Okay.
We also have a tornado warning. It says, looks like for just north of that as well.
Yeah, it looks like that's, I'm trying to pull that up. If it's not a tornado, it looks like it's just a sliver of it, but let's get that pulled up too. This is for, this looks like it's for until 8:30. This is for northeastern sections of Simpson County and northern Smith County. So this is going to encompass more of the area. This will go north of Raleigh. So it's a pretty good storm cell that we're looking at right there. And you could see that all of this is moving northeastward towards Sandpoint and Raleigh. So there you go. And around Traxler as well. But this is a tornado warning. And now I notice the radar observed is gone.
Yes.
So we're getting a little progress here. We added a warning and then decreased the kind of the severity of another one. So you get the idea as to what's going on. But Smith County right now seems to have the worst of the weather. McGee, you're no longer under a tornado warning, so that's good. Tornado warning has been lifted for McGee, but we still have a tornado warning for Brookhaven and Raleigh. Those are the two most populated spots right now in South Central, or really in Mississippi, that are under tornado warnings currently. So this is what we have right now. Brookhaven, the storm is over the city of Brookhaven. It is moving northeastward. This has been an active night with a lot of places being impacted by tornado warnings. And fortunately, the damage has not been extensive thus far, but we have not received any additional reports. I'll just throw on debris tracker again real quick, make sure we're not missing anything. But here it's kind of hard to see it anyway. It's kind of mixed in, but we're not seeing any debris signatures per se. And the wind flow, the notch didn't seem as strong when this storm came through either. So that's good news. Back to regular radar we go, and let's look at the regional review and see what we can pick out. And you can see that it's a heavy rain over Brookhaven, heavy rain for Raleigh. The big part of the storm moved out of McGee. That looks like the worst storm right now on the radar. Would you agree, Ashley?
Yes, I would agree. And they've also decided to cancel the tornado warning for Simpson County.
Okay, so that's good news, because right now it's just for the extreme eastern part of the county.
Yes.
So we're going to narrow this down here pretty quickly. We're going to have Smith County with a tornado warning, and then we're going to have probably just really Lincoln County with a tornado warning at this point. And the southwestern part of Mississippi will be looking at just a tornado warning. Interesting enough, all right, southwest Mississippi at this point, looking at flash flooding concern. In fact, this rain is spreading into the southwest part of the state. We had a flash flood warning for all of Jefferson County. We had a flash flood warning for northern Adams County. And sure enough, wouldn't you know, that the flash flooding warning has been taken off. All right, did you see what just happened? Lincoln County just updated. So Franklin County, no more of a tornado warning, but Lincoln County around Brookhaven, we have a tornado warning that remains in effect for the city of Brookhaven. So we're going to continue to monitor this storm as it moves through the area. A little bit farther to the west, Natchez, the weather's improving a little bit for you after having some really rough stuff a little while ago. Most of the rain has now moved east. We still have a lot of rain here in a tornadic thunderstorm on radar, at least, in northern Wilkinson and southern Adams counties. So that's where we're watching this. And this is the only thing that concerns me at this point, right? Because this is going to keep moving eastward, and it may move into Franklin County before long. And we could have a new tornado warning on our hands. We'll wait and see on that. But I'm just letting you know how things are playing out on the field here. It is going to be Brookhaven, though, that has probably a tornado warning that we'll need to be concerned with over the next few minutes until that storm clears the area.
Yeah, Dave, it looks a little suspect. So it looks like a little bit of some tightening going on here. in terms of rotation. So we're going to continue to keep it just southwest of Brookhaven, I would say.
Right, and kind of what I said earlier, right? Highway 84, that corridor is going to be the hottest part probably for the rest of this evening, because that's the atmosphere where the atmosphere is still the hottest, the most unstable. We're seeing more stability. The more it rains in Metro Jackson, which it's been doing here the last couple of hours, the more it does that, the more it stabilizes the atmosphere. Rain calms down the atmosphere. When you don't have the rain and you've got these storms, the edges of these storms, that's where you're going to get this development, and that's why this cell is really going strong. It's on the southern edge of the storm system and the easternmost edge of it too. So it's feeding in all this moisture that came up off the Gulf of Mexico today. It started out kind of chilly this morning, right?
It did, yes.
Yeah, but by lunch we were like, wait a minute.
It's in the 80s.
Yeah, it was in the 80s, pretty quick. And so that's the problem when you deal with this type of weather. And you know, Ashley, I know you've been in Mississippi now, what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yes.
I don't know, 10 years?
It's close to that.
Whatever, 4 years. And you know, 4+ years really. And when you look at that, all right, you know what goes on, especially this time of year. The cold air can get overtaken by the warm, unstable air very quickly. And when it does that, okay, it makes things that much more unstable, and that's why you get severe weather to break out like this. But fortunately for now, this is a severe weather event, don't get me wrong. But for now, we're not getting a lot of reports of damage. We have a new tornado warning now in effect, again, and this will include Prentiss and New Hebron and Monticello. A new tornado warning. This goes until 9 p.m., and I'll read the information for you on this. Stand by. This is for northeastern Lincoln County. And it is also for Lawrence County and northwestern Jefferson Davis County. New tornado warning in effect, radar indicated rotation. The storm is near East Lincoln and will be near Sontag by 8:10. So the tornado right now is over Brookhaven, which we are indicating by radar. It's now moving east at 40 miles per hour. So this is what we're looking at right here, and we're plotting it out for you to get you prepared. Silver Creek, 840. Monticello, 832. New Hebron, 845. NOLA, 822. New tornado warning just going into effect now. So the night is still young, at least for this area. And we were just saying moments ago about how Highway 84 would be the most active corridor tonight. And this is really what we're looking at right here with that storm coming out of Brookhaven. A little bit further north, Storm Tracker 3 in Quinton Smith is located in Copiah County. And I understand you're finding now some more significant damage?
That's right, Dave. So earlier I told you, so far all we're seeing is just debris from these storms, but we finally found our first structural damage. Take a look here. We're on Bank Street. This is the Oasis nightclub, and as you can see, the awning, the strong winds have ripped parts of the awning off, and it's hanging off the side of the building. This is the Oasis Club here on Bank Street, and if you look right across the street, you can see a piece of that awning actually flew across the street, and it's sitting right here. I'm going to pan the camera over so you can see that. So this is the only structural damages that we've been able to see so far from the strong winds that ripped through Hazelhurst today. Again, this is on Banks Street. Other than this, the only thing that we've been able to see so far since we've been here is tree limbs in the middle of the road and just a lot of damage and debris. Again, more good news to report. Earlier, there were thousands of people left in the dark here in Hazelhurst. As we've been driving throughout town, a lot of the neighborhoods and homes that were in the dark, the power has been restored to their homes. Right, and we can actually see a power line down right here. This is causing some of the power outages here in this neighborhood. But the neighborhood that we were in for the last live shot, we showed you 2 power crews out restoring power to that neighborhood. So they're slowly but surely trying to get the power restored. And this is the 3rd road we've went to where a tree has been in the middle of the road blocking it right now. I'm going to pan down so you can see it. So this is the 3rd tree. This is from the strong storms that swept through the area here today. So far, just a lot of tree limbs in the road and debris, and of course power outages. But structural damages, just the Oasis nightclub that we just showed you here on Bank Street. The rain is actually starting to pick up here. Still a lot of lightning happening in this area. But the good news is there's not a whole lot of structural damages from the strong storms that swept through this area. But of course, we're going to continue. We're going to actually try to find our way to get to the other side of the street. We're going to continue to drive around and see what else we can find. And once we do, we'll be sure to check back in with you.
All right, now Quentin, give me an idea. Oasis nightclub. What part of Copiah County are you in right now? I just want to get an idea. Are you Hazelhurst? Are you still in Hazelhurst?
Hazelhurst. Yes. Hey, he's asking you where we are.
Yes, Dave, we're here in Hazelhurst on Bank Street.
Okay.
And there's a power line, I'm trying to get to it, a power line that's actually on this tree right here that's causing this neighborhood to be without power. I'm trying to zoom in so you all can see what we're looking at here. Let's see if I can play with it.
All right, I can see that power line
Yeah,
now.
you can see it right here. So this is what's causing the power outage here on Bank Street here in Hazelhurst. So far, we have not seen any power crews in this neighborhood, but a few streets over, we saw power crews out restoring power in another neighborhood where the lights are slowly starting to come back on house by house there. I can only imagine that they're going to make their way over here to this neighborhood on Bank Street next. But again, you can see this big tree fell over and took the power lines down with it. This is from the strong storms that swept through Hazelhurst earlier today. And again, this is on Bank Street. This is also the same street where we saw the structural damage to the Oasis nightclub. That's the only structural damage that we've seen so far here in Hazelhurst. Everything else has been just tree limbs in the middle of the road and other storm debris scattered all throughout the roads. But of course, we're going to continue to try to find our way to the other side of this street to see what else we can find. And we'll definitely make sure we check back in with you.
All right, thank you so much, Quentin Smith in Storm Tracker 3 in Copiah County. And by the way, before you email me, Quentin is with somebody who's driving. He's doing the other work. I don't want you to think he's doing both at the same time. We don't have a distracted driver there by any means, but I appreciate his work that he's doing tonight in this rough weather. Just got another report in for you. This is from Simpson County. Sheriff Paul Mullins, who joined us on air not too long ago, just updated us and said, I've had no reports of damage, so that's good news, right? I mean, Ashley, the news is going in the right direction, that's for sure.
No good news is good news.
That's right. And you could see that as far as Smith County is concerned, we do not have any other reports of damage coming in, but we do have a tornado warning in effect. We're talking about that one near Raleigh and Mize. It has moved past Mize now, and so this is going to be closer to Silverina. Even Raleigh, it seems like the worst of the weather has moved east of town, but you're still being covered by some heavy weather. But you can see this is where the real rough stuff is. This is Highway, I believe, 540. Right here, make sure I have that right. It's 18, which is 18. Silverina Road, sorry. Yes. Silverina Road out here. And then you've got Center Ridge, and it seems like the worst of the weather is south of Highway 18. So that's the story with that storm that's moving off to the east. Now, let's go back into the storm system, the storm cluster that just came out of Brookhaven. And that one's moving eastward right now. We're working on getting you some information on Brookhaven. Good news is, Ashley, I don't know if you've seen anything, but I have not seen any news out of Brookhaven so far.
No, it's looking not super impressive as of right now, but it may start to get into some more energy as it kind of starts. It looks like it's starting to pulse back up just a little bit. As it's exiting Brookhaven, I should say. Right.
And so here's the thing. This storm is still moving along Highway 84. It's headed for Monticello. All right, so Monticello, you're going to have to deal with this storm before long. We'll storm track it for you here in a second. But Monticello and New Hebron, you're the two spots that are going to have to watch out for this storm as it starts moving out of Brookhaven. So you can see that we've got the actual storm plot here. And we're going to include the town of NOLA at 8:27, about 15 minutes or so. Monticello, 8:37. Ferguson, 8:40. Silver Creek, 8:46. So these areas are going to be impacted by the storm at about that time. I would say New Hebron, you're more likely at about 8:45-ish. The way this storm is kind of developing and moving out of Brookhaven right now. The worst of the weather has shifted out of Brookhaven. I wouldn't run outside by any means, but I'm just telling you the core of this storm has now shifted east of town, whereas over Brookhaven itself, we are still getting some very heavy rain, but the tornadic threat, the worst part of the storm, seems to be getting close to NOLA, if not Wanilla, as it keeps moving off to the east, right along Highway 84. Let's do a wind field check on it real quick and see what we got. And we're still seeing those winds around Fair River and East Lincoln.
Yes, we've got 70,
77.
62 out near Hartman.
Yeah, so we still have a lot of activity with these winds, and that just shows you the storm system is pretty active above the ground. And what we're trying not to have is those winds come down and reach the surface, because that will cause problems. But we were talking about the winds earlier today, right? And we saw even outside of storms, and that just updated the scan there for you. We saw even outside of storms. Ashley and I were looking over the data this afternoon before we went on TV. We actually saw the winds were going to be gusting over 50 miles per hour in many spots, even without the storms. So that just shows you how powerful of a weather system this is. So that's important to note right off the bat. But the good news that we're reporting to you, as you can see, we're able to get to most of the damage that Quentin's been pulling up for us on the First Alert Storm Tracker. And then also we've been checking in with our sheriffs and our emergency management directors by phone and just checking them, rechecking after a while and saying, hey, any damage, anything to report? So far, not much. We do have that fire that we've been reporting on in the northern part of Madison County. And so far, no additional information on that, but Brendan Hall came upon that as well. He was there actually before, I think he was there before the emergency workers showed up on it, so he came right across it. Hopefully that's not a major deal. Didn't sound like it, didn't look like it, but we'll keep you posted on that. But this storm system right now is very close to NOLA and it moving off to the east. So it's a pretty active evening out there with the tornado warnings for Smith County and the tornado warning for Lincoln County right now standing out as the biggest ones. And then, I don't even want to talk about this, but Ashley, we can't ignore it. Farther west, we are looking at some rough weather that's on the southern part of Adams County. So in the southwest part of the state, we continue to have that. And I just saw, there we go. That's good news. So Adams County's out. There's really no population. I hate to say it. There's a couple homes right here on Highway 61 in the extreme southern part of Adams County, but there's not much. Northern part of Wilkinson is pretty, in this area, there's not a lot either, which is good, not a high population area. But there is a new flash flood warning that's out. And this was just put into effect for Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs, as well as Simpson County. Can you believe that after 4 or 5 months, really 6 months of intermittent drought, which the last 3-4 months have been significant, here we are, we're talking about a flash flood warning, and this extends for all of Simpson County right now and eastern areas of Copiah County. Now, we're not getting any reports of any major flooding, but this is the kind of stuff that quickly, we have all these, think about all the drains that are just clogged up out there. We haven't had any rain. So they're just clogged. They've been like this for a while. We're kind of finding out which ones are clogged and which ones aren't in a hurry. And so that's why you're seeing some of these flash flood warnings going up. But fortunately, we haven't had a lot of reports of flooding so far. But the rain is welcome, maybe not to this extent, but the rain is welcome. And the fact that we're seeing it is just an indication that we're getting further and further out of this drought. Mize, you're no longer under a tornado warning. McGee, you're no longer under a tornado warning. I mentioned that a little while ago. But Raleigh, you're still barely under one. If you really want to do the math, you can see that you're kind of split with one to the north of town, one to the south of town. But as I mentioned, the worst of that storm has now moved east. In fact, this is about to exit the county here near Silverina Road before long, and it's going to be over by Bay Springs. So that's where that's going to go very soon. So let's go back to our southernmost counties, because that's kind of where we're seeing the weather now. I'm talking about Brookhaven, over through about Monticello and New Hebron. So this would be Lawrence, parts of Lincoln County. That's where things are pretty active right now. And even Jefferson Davis County over by Prentice. This is where we still have a tornado warning in effect for this storm that's just going to keep moving right along Highway 84 over the coming minutes.